18:55.
Don't get me wrong. But when you get your Garden Counties, your Stewarts, and your playoff games, you're going to see some better defenses.
Coach, let's talk about maybe what we're going to see out of your offense. Talk about your guys, kind of your main leaders here for the Warriors.
Alec Watchborn. He's a pretty explosive player for us, so we'll get Colt Van another couple guy. Plays real hard, great motor. Caleb Miller, pretty big at center for us. He's got a really good motor too. Physical kid. And then we'll just add in the rest of our guys.
Coach, get down into this six-man football. Sometimes you see some teams that maybe have 9 or 10 maybe suited up, and some maybe be pushing upwards near 20. Tell us a little bit about your team and maybe upperclassmen or underclassmen filling this squad.
Well, we have 4 seniors that play quite a bit. We have 17 on the roster. We'll be bringing 15. Pretty good junior class. Hoping he's a sophomore. He fits in right away with them. Pretty well good military. Got playing pretty well.
Now let's talk a little bit about the defensive side. As you mentioned, as you get defensive players, you're going to see some better teams than maybe in the regular season.
Every game, unless we get a team that likes to spread us out, like politics, I like that, spread it out. Garden County can do about anything. They like to spread you out and run it. They can pack it in and run tight and run it at you. And the thing is, we got to stop running. I know it's 6 minutes and anything goes. If you can make teams pass, that or run teams, it's so good. Stop running.
Well, you're going to face the Stewart team, and again, their lone loss is also to Garden County. And Coach, I'm sure you kind of watched some film throughout the season, probably even last week. Looks like maybe their quarterback, Cade, runs back to 100%. Returning six-man football player of the year. He's kind of a dangerous guy.
Yeah, Cade's a very dangerous guy. We haven't got to see him run much. Last week he got to run a little bit, and he's playing defense, so that seems to be he's ready to go. And he's a really good one.
Well, inside the game, the bigger back and a smaller back now. Other bigger running backs. Then you've also brought in Schmatter, who's kind of a quick guy, but as you mentioned, got to stop that run. They do have some weapons on the receiving side, but a team that looks like runs most of the time.
Yeah, they definitely run the football. You got to match them. Got to get your mind right and play physical football if you want to stop Stewart on the run game. Because you run, they got a nice little power game, and then they bring in Schmatter, and he's pretty quick. He gets the seam, he's gone.
Let's talk a little bit about the road trip, Coach. It's kind of one of those things in six-man football that you put in a lot of miles. Your guys going to go from one time zone to another, and if you're looking at nearly 320-plus miles that you're going to have to travel, and the mindset for now trying to kick out this one, your guys be feeling on the bus.
Well, we're going to leave a day early. We initially scheduled that Shelton game. It just came up late in the fall in the summer, and we could schedule that. And we figured that would help us prepare for road games, long road games, different time zone games. And that was basically how we approached it as a first-round playoff game. That one we left the same day and played in the afternoon. This one we're gonna leave a day early and not cram it all into one day.
I think, Coach, when you look at that, that's kind of you get kind of into the other sports things where you do have to travel basically from one side of the state to maybe Lincoln for state playoffs. You see a lot of teams that do that, so they're up fresh in the morning, ready to go through some walkthroughs and ready to go instead of sitting on a bus for 4 hours. And I think that's a great idea for you guys to get that done and a chance for you guys to come out and take on a Stewart team. And, it's going to be a decent day for football, and we're finally getting some of that football weather.
Yeah, it's going to be about just right. There's going to be a little wind, but not much, and I'm excited. I mean, Stewart's a great football team, and that hope is a little sooner.
And emus try to find hunters they can bundle, box up, and bill for you in 15 minutes or less. I'm going to say there's still retainer value there, but the reality is insurance coverage shouldn't be as simple as ordering a pizza. At the Mudhead Agency in Ainsworth, your trusted choice agent of the Sandhills, they know your needs and priorities are not the same as your next-door neighbors. Insurance is complex. It helps you to be protected from situations that could cause financial ruin. They are local, independent agents that have your best interests, not corporates at heart. Yes, they still make insurance a lot easier to understand and return it to what it's meant to do. Take care of people. People like you.
And on KBRB, we continue with our Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Mudhank Agency ahead of this afternoon's Class D6 quarterfinal matchup. The Stewart Broncos hosting the Leyton Warriors, a battle of 8-1 teams. And we're joined on the phone lines ahead of this afternoon's matchup by Coach Colin Sherman of the Broncos. And Colin, congratulations on the impressive win to start the playoff defense of your title last week. And I tell you what, sure is a big difference seeing number 7 back there as a weapon with his legs offensively.
Yeah, thanks. And, it is. It's finally nice to see Cade normal. First time he played defense since the SEN game. And, like you said, you can tell offensively he has another key for us with his legs for sure.
Well, and you didn't have to call a lot of plays for him, but when the one play I saw where it looked like, he is back to healthy, as he took that one around the right side, and there were two players that tried to take angles on him, and he just turned on the jets and outran him down the sideline. And that's the first time that, in a while that it looked like, wow, he has got full trust in that ankle, and he's got back to his full speed.
Yep, no, I think he's 100%. And, as much as I do, when you tweak something like that, it's always, nerve-wracking if I can cut on it or whatever it is. And, that's kind of what we went through the last couple of weeks in practice before we were going to fully let him go, to make sure he was comfortable making those cuts. And, like you said, I think he is. I think he's back to normal. And, he looked really good last week, and he's a big part of what we can do.
Well, I'll tell you what, in that win over Meridian, your defense, again, just so disciplined, all three levels. The two defensive ends are game wreckers. They get into the backfield so quickly, force really quick decisions from the other team's quarterbacks or running backs, and your linebackers have tackled well, and your defensive backs, boy, have they been sticky, and they just, it seems like, Colin, that they know in that defensive backfield, I can sit on the shorter routes because our guys are not going to give their quarterback enough time to throw a lot of deep passes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just like, every interview, we always talk about our defense. And, that's why we were successful like we were last year. Tate does a really good job of getting them, where they're supposed to be. And, the boys just do a really good job of doing their assignments. And, it all starts up front. And, like you said, last week we had Cade back at the DN spot. Him and Cameron were just kind of all over the place. And, people kind of forget we kind of did that without Tommy, too, because Tommy had a really good season. He just kept getting better and better at DN. So we have a good rotation of DNs. And, like you said, all three levels of our guys are really, really disciplined. They do a really good job of, doing their job, I guess. And, they're just sure tacklers. We work on tackling a lot just because we know how important it is. And no, I mean, the reason we're having success again this year is just because of how well our defense is playing and how much they've grown since week one.
Well, let's talk about this Leyton team. An impressive win last week in the opening round over Pawnee City. And this is a team that puts up a ton of points, whether it's passing, whether it's rushing. They are basically averaging more than a dozen yards per play on the season, which is kind of unheard of. About 16 yards every time they pass the ball, about 11 yards every time they rush the ball. And they're over 3,500 yards for the year and averaging about 400 yards per game. So might not be against the type of competition that you have seen week in and week out, but that tells you they've got some athletes.
Yeah, no, they absolutely do. The Watchorn kid is a very explosive, athletic kid. They're kind of a different, unique offense, too. They like to spread you out and run a lot of RPO. They're not going to line up tight and try to run the ball at you. And, they do a lot of lateral stuff when they're in trouble. They'll just pitch it backwards, and usually it's successful. So our boys got to be extremely disciplined this week, and we've been talking about it all week. And we had a really good defensive practice yesterday. I feel like when we do our team meeting, the boys understand what they're supposed to be doing, and Tate's got them lined up in really good spots again. And we just got to prepare that the ball is never down until that whistle's blown, because they usually try to extend plays. And like I said, they do a really good job of it. So, it all starts up front again. Our DM's got to contain Watchorn, and, because if he gets out of the pocket, he's a really good football player.
Well, and in that case, kind of a nice tune-up with the Meridian team last week that had the two good backfield options and like to try to get to the edges. So I imagine that helped a little bit, just seeing something a little similar to maybe what you'll see this week.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's comparable. Not to downgrade Meridian or anything. Leyton might have a little more athletes than they do. But, just like we tell the boys, the farther we get into this, the better teams we're going to play. Whenever the playoffs start, you're always going to play a quality football team, because it takes that to make the playoffs. And, but I think the great thing for us is we have really good experience. We've been in this spot 3 years in a row now that we've been in the quarters. And, obviously what we did last year, there's really no game right now that's bigger than the state championship. So our boys feel pretty comfortable. We're playing at home. That's another big thing for us, I think, too. But, again, we just got to be ready to go, and we got to be really disciplined and, just do what we've done all year.
Well, when you watch this Leyton team defensively, where do you feel like your offense can find success? You've been able to line up, run power. You've been able to get to the edges, and now having Cade with that back as that dual threat option, where do you feel like offensively you've got chances to succeed?
They're very aggressive. Their DMs, rush really hard. Their linebackers are blitzing, so we got to be able to pick that up. And it's comparable to some teams that we've played and had success against. So, our boys are comfortable and confident, but you still got to do it. And like you said, adding Cade to it is just another element for us. We did this all year without him being able to run the football. So I think, our offense is a little more, if you want to call it balanced or explosive, whatever you want to call it, with him being able to do what he can. And, in that RPO situation, he's very dangerous. He usually makes the right decision and takes off or throws it. So, I think if we just do what we've been doing, and we do it well, our backs usually find the hole and make a play.
Well, looking just simply at the stats, of course, last week in the opening round, you forced 5 turnovers as part of just a fantastic defensive effort. This is a team that has forced a lot of turnovers on the season. So, how much of that is a stress point this week on, hey, we've got to protect the football and let's go try to take it away?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Offensively, we've really taken care of the ball this year, and like you said, defensively, we're taking it from them. I think we're like plus 26 in the turnover department right now, which is unheard of. But the keys to the games for us always, and we repeat this is, offensively, we just have to take care of the football. We don't need to hit the home run every single time. We can pound and pound and pound, and then the home run will, it'll eventually show up. And then defensively, we just can't give up a big play, and that clear for the team that we're playing in Leyton, because Leyton, like you said, like this, they have a bunch of turnovers on defense and they like to hit the home run on offense. So, our goals are kind of against each other in the exact way. But, like I said, if we do what we've done, just handle the football offensively and no big plays on defense, I think we'll be okay.
Coach Colin Sherman joining us. Coach, we'll look forward to talking to you after the ball game. Good luck, and we'll look forward to seeing the Broncos on the field this afternoon.
Appreciate it, man.
That's Coach Colin Sherman joining us here on the Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Mudhank Agency on 2nd Street in Ainsworth. When we come back, we'll be at Stewart Park as we get set for our Buckles Automotive pregame show and kickoff between the Stewart Broncos and the Leyton Warriors in the quarterfinals of the Class D6 state football playoffs.
Buying a vehicle can be equal parts exciting and headache-inducing. While most love the idea of getting a new set of wheels, shopping and paperwork can be exhausting. Not anymore. Just go to GallionAuto.com, where car shopping is fun, easy, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home anytime. Shop by make, shop by price range, and apply for financing. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, stop Gallion Auto Sales at the junction of Highways 20 and 11 in Atkinson or online at GallionAuto.com.
And a good afternoon here on KBRB Ainsworth, Nebraska, and welcome to Stewart Park, Stewart, Nebraska, one of 4 sites for today's Class D six-man football quarterfinal matchup. Leyton Warriors coming in at 8-1, taking on the Stewart Broncos at 8-1. Stewart Broncos right now have won 5 straight playoff games, including last year's 6-man state championship. It was Leyton last year losing in the opening round. They did pick up a win last week in their first matchup against Pawnee City, 63-14, and it was Stewart, the 4 seed, defeating 13 seed Meridian, 47-7. We are on our Bunkles Automotive pregame show here on KBRB as we get ready to bring in Greg Kinsey. Boy, if we look at this on paper, Greg, there's a lot of similarities to these teams. Leyton averaging 56 points a game, Stewart 48. Leyton gives up 24 points a game, Stewart just 12. And then you look at the turnovers created, and we just heard Coach Sherman talking about them. They're plus 26. They have 13 interceptions, 17 fumble recoveries for 30 turnovers to their defense. Leyton has created 22 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 12 fumble recoveries. So, man, on paper, this one is what it's hyped to be in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Cody, those stats jump off the page at you when you start looking at these two teams, and it's the way they force turnovers on defense. We talk about Stewart giving up 12 points a game, but if you look at their starters, outside the 4 scores against Garden County, a couple against Silver Lake, there have not been, maybe 1 against Hampton. There have not been many games where this Stewart team starting defense gave up anything.
Yeah.
So, the 2 touchdowns against Shelton, 1 late last week against Meridian, a couple of the other scores against Cody Kilgore, against Santee, those have all come with potentially the 3rd unit on the field. So when you look at the starting defense for the Stewart Bronco team, they have been maybe given up 6 or 7 scores the entire year. So that's going to be the matchup to watch, because when you look here on our Buckles Automotive pregame show at this Leyton Warrior team, you want to talk about explosive offense and 6-man football. Look at these stats. On the offensive side, Leyton is averaging 16 yards every time they complete a pass, and they're averaging 11 yards every time they run the ball. I mean, those are just unbelievable stats. This is a Leyton team that is putting up 400 yards per game, 185 through the air, 215 on the ground per game. They've scored 41 touchdowns on the ground, 30 touchdowns via the pass. So this is a prolific Leyton offense. And, you heard in the pregame from Coach Cody Gamble that Leyton's schedule out west does not get the night, the week in, week out tests that some of the other 6-man teams do, such as Stewart playing, I believe, 5 playoff teams on their 8-team schedule. So it's a case of, something's got to give. This Leyton offense has been explosive all year outside the 1 loss, which was to Garden County. That's Stewart's only loss as well, and that's the only time their defense has really given up more than maybe a touchdown or so.
Yeah, right. And we talked last week with the Meridian coach. He said six-man football is just like your background pickup football game. And we're going to see that, I believe, a lot coming out of Leyton. You're going to see some, maybe backward passes turning into forward passes. And there's going to be a lot of different setups here for the Stewart Broncos to see. But they do have six-man football player of the year from last year back, and boy, did he make a difference. 3 touchdowns on offense on 4 carries for Cade Rum, and I thought he was even better on defense.
Yeah, and that's everybody knows Cade is the Bronco quarterback for 4 years, but what he does on the defensive side, his athleticism, his strength to not only set the edge, but to attack the quarterback, attack the running back when the ball comes his way, and when it doesn't, to be able to chase down on the back end and make plays as somebody tries to cut back. So, yeah, having him back on the defensive end speaks volumes, and as we mentioned in the pregame, seeing him at what looks like back to full strength for the first time since the second quarter of the Broncos' second game. So, that's a big addition for this Stewart team. As we are in our Buckles Automotive pregame show on KBRB, don't let the cold stand in your way. Personal warmth has been reinvented. The thaw lineup is on display now at Buckles Automotive. Outdoor activities are a lot more enjoyable with rechargeable heated seat pads, perfect for deer stands and ice fishing. Heat up game day with the rechargeable stadium seats, ensuring cold weather will never sideline your enthusiasm. Hand warmers, scarves, wraps, and more, all super affordable, all make great gifts from Buckles Automotive. Let's take a look at our starting lineups with Cody Gucci. They're brought to you by Three River, your area telecommunications and technology leader.
All right, for Leyton Warriors, their head coach Cody Gamble, assisted by Charles Jones and Sam Shoemaker. They'll go with number 5, 180-pound senior at running back, Alec Watchorn. He's 34 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing, has 19 rushing touchdowns, 7 receiving touchdowns. Number 11, Colt Van Am, 175-pound sophomore at running back, has 14 rushing touchdowns. Jeremiah Hayek, he's a 185-pound senior at end. We also have him catching 2 touchdown passes this year. Your center, the 220-pound senior, number 21, Caleb Miller. Number 23, 185-pound junior at end is Hunter Borges. And number 33, the quarterback, Austin Butler. He's a 170-pound junior.
Lineups brought to you by Three River. If you need a reliable internet connection, look no further than Three River Communications. Three Rivers dependable internet keeps your streaming, gaming, and video meetings running smoothly and stress-free. Three River also has telephone service and plenty of great cable television options. Don't settle for the ordinary when you can enjoy the extraordinary. Visit threeriver.net. Give them a call at 866-569-2666. Three River, your communications leader, supporting high school sports. Now the starting lineup for the Stewart Broncos.
Head coach is Colin Sherman. Volunteer assistant coach John Schmaderer. Assistant coach defensive coordinator Tate Schmaderer. In numeric order, number 5, a 155-pound senior, Drew Schmaderer. The center, Cameron Kelp, wears number 6. He's a 200-pound senior. The quarterback, Cade Rum, wears number 7, 180-pound senior. The big back of the backfield, number 9, Owen Latow, a 195-pound senior. You'll see at end, number 14, Tom Paxton, 170-pound sophomore, and number 15, Atwood Albright, 170-pound senior. Trey Wallinger on their heavy packages will get the start in front of Zane Doak, who was mildly injured last week. Zane is available if needed, but Trey Wallinger wears number 77, 240-pound junior. Starting lineups brought to you by Three River Communications.
We'll come back, be ready for the kick here between the Stewart Broncos and Leyton Warriors in the Class D6 State Football Playoff quarterfinals after this timeout.
Keeping strong roots builds a family tree.
national anthem, Stewart Public Schools 4th grade student, Bryn Olson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Journey to your Finding the Good Life destination, serving North Central Nebraska.
Well, Cody, a beautiful day for high school playoff football in the month of November, as a little better than last week when we were up here shivering, as it is 52 degrees. There is a bit of a breeze. It'll be a factor northwest at 17 miles per hour. Be mainly blowing across the field, but it will help the team just a bit, who is going from from right to left, from west to east here at Stewart Park, as this field is lined up to go east and west. Broncos won the toss, deferred their decision to the second half, so we'll likely see the Bronco defense, Warrior offense, to get things started.
Yeah, for the Stewart Broncos, they're going to come out in maroon uniforms. They have the white helmets and maroon horseshoe on their helmets. And this is the first time I've seen Leyton in my years of broadcasting, Greg. And they're going to come out kind of looking like the Washington Commanders out there. They have kind of black pants. They have the kind of the reddish helmet with gold on them. They have the Warriors. They are the Warriors with white uniforms and that kind of maroon and gold letter and numbering there.
You're right. They did kind of borrow the Washington Commanders colors.
Yeah.
Now, I'm familiar with Leyton, as this Stewart team is as well. Not necessarily on the football field, but these two teams played for a district volleyball title in Gordon a couple of years ago, won by the Broncos in one of their trips to the state volleyball tournament. Played Leyton in a district final a couple of years ago.
And let you know, Leyton traveled the farthest of anybody in quarterfinals in six-man. How about 304 miles from their location to here to the Stewart Park, as we get ready to kick this one away. And this can be Lane Bolter, and this one's going to be high, and it's going to drop at about the 20. Ball's going to be loose and going to be recovered by Isaac Rohde, the 165-pound sophomore. Pretty good field position. And that one they didn't really want him maybe to return, because they do have a little bit of wind behind them, Greg, but pretty good field position.
Boy, that was an excellent kick from Bolter. Kind of found no man's land between the deep back and the up back, and hung it up there, and it came down. There were two or three Broncos within a couple of yards of that ball before Rohde dove on it. But a good heads-up play from him, and we'll see a bunch formation from Leyton to start things off.
Averaging 400 yards per game, going to send a man in motion. That is Van Ann. Going to go back, looking back to pass it. Butler, and he's going to get it into the hands of Van Ann. Van Ann crossed the field, and he's going to lean up for about maybe 9 yards on that first pass. But, boy, Greg, they kind of run a great rollout pass by the quarterback and complete it for about 9 yards.
Yeah, that was, and I like what they do is they snap it to an up back who pitches it back to the quarterback, so that gives that quarterback that dual opportunity to either pass it or run it.
Cade Rum right in, left in is Cameron Kalp. They're going to look to bring some heat here as Austin Butler in shotgun formation. Watchhorn, the dangerous running back behind here. Snap comes a little bit sooner than everybody thought. Going to throw this one out to the quarterback. He'll break one tackle. He's got the first down near midfield before he's knocked out of bounds. But breaking a tackle, you don't see the Stewart Broncos miss many tackles. Schmaderer had him, and he was able to get away, was Van Ann.
Yeah, it was actually Albright that couldn't wrap him up down around the legs. He was able to shake free from that one and pick up a first down. So that'll go for a gain of 9 more. And all of a sudden, Leyton moves the chains on the first drive.
Well, they're going to have 3 In the back, quarterback with split back formation here. Broncos going to bring a little bit of heat. Going to bring this pass back to Watchorn. Watchorn has the ability to run. He's got 5. He's into Stewart territory before he's brought down after about 7 yards, down around the 35 or 6 yard line.
Well, we told you this Leyton team averages better than 10 yards every time they run the ball, and about 16 yards every time they complete a pass. So Watchorn, near 1,000 yards on the season. He picks up 8 and right away into Stewart territory of the Leyton Warriors.
Well, I tell you what, they're doing a lot of misdirection as much as you can here with 6-man football. Jeremiah Hayek is now back at a fullback spot here. He'll take the snap. He'll go with an option out to Watchorn. Watchorn's got some blocking outside, and he's going to pick up about another 5 yards before he's knocked out of bounds, about looks like maybe the 30-yard line. And tell you what, that far end over there, I believe that was Cade Rum, strung that out quite a bit.
But it was excellent blocking from Jeremiah Hayek, holding on to his block with Cade Rum. Cade just kept stringing it out, and it'll be a gain of about, about 4 yards for Watchorn, set up 3rd and 3. But that was a good job by both Cade Rum stringing the play out, but by Hayek holding his block out there on the edge.
Cameron Kalp out, coming in to play left end will be Tom Paxton now. Paxton in, missed last week as he was at National FFA. Twins off to the left side here for Van Ann, who looks to be taking the snap here. He'll pitch it back, and they're going to throw it right back to Van Ann. He's going to have enough for the first down, and he's going to get inside the 25-yard line to about the 24-yard line, and another first down here in the first possession for the Leyton Warriors.
That had to be miscommunication somewhere between Rum and
Paxton.
Tom Paxton, because they both rushed the quarterback, and that guaranteed in 6-man, that leaves somebody open. And it was Van Ann who picks up the first down all the way to the Stewart 24.
8:12 to go here in the first quarter. First possession for Leyton, and they are marching it down in Stewart territory. 2 first downs already. Ball's going to be bobbled a little bit. Now to Watchorn. He's going to dump it off in this one into the hands of Hayek, and Hayek is getting down inside that 15-yard line, down into the 14, and we're now what they call inside that red zone, Greg. Another just spread you out as we heard that they were going to do, and just great offensive play calling so far for the Leyton Warriors.
And that time it was Owen Littow that lost his player that he was guarding, and it was, Hayek that cleared out, and it was Littow who was trying to chase down. So a good job by Butler here early on finding the open player, and they've exploited some little holes in the Stewart defensive game plan thus far.
Hey, and they got a big man up front. Their center, a 220-pound senior, probably stand about 6'5", Caleb Miller. He's the center, and here comes, looks like a little bit of a blitz pressure here by the Stewart Broncos. Back to passes, Watchorn. He pump fakes, and then he's going to be brought down by Cade Rum about the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
Yeah, good play by Rum there to stay right there. Paxton tied up the quarterback. He flipped it ahead, and Watchorn, nothing there. Cade Rum right there. So 2 down territory here. It'll be 3rd and about 5 for Leyton inside the Stewart 15-yard line. Good drive by the Warriors to open this game. It's already chewed up more than 3 minutes on the clock and a couple first downs and in 2 down territory.
Cade Rum to the bench. Cameron Kalp comes in his replacement. Quarterback is Butler, sends a man in motion. Low snap. He'll pick it out to Watchorn, looking to pass. Now he'll cut. He's got yardage up inside the 10-yard line, and he's going to have another first down. That's the 3rd first down after about a 7-8-yard pickup there.
7 for Watchorn, and it's 1st and goal. 3 first downs for Leyton against the defending champions. Stewart now faced 1st and goal with the defense. You haven't seen teams really sustain drives like this on the Broncos this year.
Well, their defensive ends have been able to get back there, but if you see Leyton, when they pitch it back, their up back who it can run it or is a quarterback, he's going to be right now about 9 yards off. Maybe now he's backing up to even 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So he's making sure that the ends cannot get there. Paxton coming into rush. Oh, wide open is the center, and he's going to catch it, and he'll go in for a touchdown. That is Caleb Miller. That will go for an 8-yard touchdown pass, and Leyton Warriors on the road strike first, but we do have a flag down right at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, let's see the call. I think it was near the tackle potentially, but we'll check that out. It would be an 8-yard score.
There are 2 flags down. Oh, they're backing up here. Leyton is backing up. That could take off as Austin Butler, the captain for this Leyton Warrior team, is talking to the official to see what happened, and here's the call. It is a touchdown. and
then
unsportsmanlike conduct on Leyton. So with 6:03 to go here in this first quarter, Leyton strikes first, an impressive drive. And you know what, Greg, we mentioned at the opening, they do average 400 yards per game, and they marched it right down the field. And they'll get ready to kick this one here. And it looks like Caleb Miller, the guy that just caught the touchdown, will try to kick the 2-point try through. Alec Watchhorn, the talented running back, will hold here. And it looks like the Broncos may jump.
Well, somebody jumped anyway. Everybody jumped except the snapper.
Yep, and it was false start on the Leyton Warriors there.
So it looks like, I'm guessing, Cody, the unsportsmanlike penalty will go on the kickoff is where that will be assessed.
So he asked Coach Colin Sherman, and that's what Coach Sherman said. Yeah, take it off at the kickoff there when the official came over. Did see that. All right, there's an extra point try. Now going to snap back, kicking from about the 18-yard line. This one is on its way, and it is wide left. But Leyton coming into Stuart, Nebraska, against the defending state champs and making their mark on their first drive with 6:03 to go in the first quarter. Tri-County Bank scoreboard, Leyton 6, Stuart 0.
Well, 3 first downs, Cody, for the Leyton Warriors on that 9-play, 60-yard drive to open the game, and a little statement made by this 8-1 Leyton team on the road that they're here to compete.
I tell you what, I watched Garden County and Stuart, and it was a smash-mouth football. And I tell you what, right now, Leyton and Stuart both playing Garden County. And tell you what, Leyton put a whale of a drive together right there. And it was like, you know what? We came to play, and we're here to play. And we talked to Coach in the Coach's Corner, Greg. I don't know how much of that has, hey, we're not going to sit on the bus for 4.5 hours. We're going to come the day before and be ready to play today.
Well, the 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty after the touchdown backs it up to the 15 and it kind of into a northwest wind. Stuart should get excellent field position. Looks like Addison back deep to receive for the Broncos.
Squib kick going to be covered up and right about the 35 by one of the upbacks. That is number 5, Drew Schmaderer, recovering that one.
So starting in Leyton territory after that 15-yard penalty, football at the 35. So now the Broncos will try to answer on their first drive.
Looks like they're going to go with the heavy package here as Trey Wallinger gets the start today. Does look like Zane Doak is available if needed. Zane took kind of a hit as he caught a pass last week. Didn't see much action after that. Coach Sherman said he would be available. But Trey Wallinger gets the start on the line here, as well as Tom Paxton back from last week. All right, going to have Owen Latow in the backfield. Cade Rum under center right now. Going to look to go back to pass. Open is Atwood Albright at the 35, goes to the 30, and he's going to pick up about 10 yards on the first play for the Broncos, and they put a nice opening play together.
Yeah, a little play action pass there. Rum to Albright, 10 yards down to the 25, and a good opening play on first down. And
just like that, an injury to a left hand, it looks like, to the center, Cameron Kalpas. He comes out, and we're going to see number 42, Brooke Wallinger, 200-pound sophomore, on the second play from scrimmage will have to come in, and we'll have to see what happened here to Kalp.
Yeah, he's in some discomfort with that left wrist, and so now a new center in there for Stewart, and a tough snap, and it's going to lead to a loss as Littau's hit. But Rum bobbled that snap from new center Brooke Wallinger, and Littau's going to go backwards as he was buried by Caleb Miller. Miller's a big kid, he's definitely about 6'3", 6'4" out there, and 220 pounds, and Littau's going to lose about 4 yards.
And just like that, Cameron Kalp says, you know what, I need to get back in there, and here he is. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9 here for Stewart on the Leyton 29. 4:45 to go here in the first quarter. Leyton scored on their first possession, missed the 2-point kick. They lead at 6-0. Back to tight formation here, and it looks like the center is going to snap it early, and now the quarterback is just going to have to try to go forward.
I think they wanted the hard count, and Kaup went ahead and snapped it.
He's
Nobody else
still in
from
pain.
Stewart moved, and Rum fortunately got a hold of the football and was tackled for a loss of about a yard. And now it's 4th and 10, and wow, what a start for this Leyton team against the defending champions. A 9-play, 60-yard drive for a score. Now they've got Stewart to 4th and 10.
Paxton split out to the right, to the left to Schmaderer. All by himself in the backfield is Rum. He'll hand this one off to Schmaderer. Drew looking for some blocking. Good defense. They're going to stop him on 4th down at about the 26-yard line. Not only did the offense for Leyton make a statement on the offense, but how about that first defensive series for the Warriors?
Yeah, after a 10-yard gain on the opening play, Leyton's defense forces a couple of negative plays and then holds on 4th down, and they will take over at the 25. And Cody, one of the other stats from this Leyton team, 72 tackles for loss in 9 games.
We saw 2 of them
Yeah,
there.
right there, 2 on the first series, as they had 72 of those on the season.
All right, first down to 10 here for the Warriors. Ball's loose, and it's going to be recovered, and that is going to be Austin Butler, the quarterback, falling on it after a loss of about 2 yards.
Yeah, just another did not get the snap cleanly, and he was lucky to fall on that one for just a loss of 2.
Well, Cameron Kaup getting that left wrist worked on right now. He's big key. You don't see him in the offensive stats, but he's big key anchoring that offensive line at defensive end. All right, here it is, second down at 18 for the Warriors, up 6-0. Pitch it back to Watchorn. He'll look to run it. He's got some room after a missed tackle by Rum, and then he's going to be brought down to about the 33-yard line. Nice little pickup there.
Yeah,
no
Nigel
flags.
Addison on the tackle, but a good job by Watchorn. And you're right, Coach. They're talking to Coach Gamble. It's a lot of kind of playground-style football, and they just get their playmakers out in space and let them have an option to run, an option to pass. Watchorn picks up 10, and it sets up third down and about 8.
He nears that 1,000-yard mark. Under center is Butler. He'll send a man in motion. That is Van An. They're going to hand this one off. Van Horn, and then he'll dump it off into the hands of Van An.
Blitz, ball's
and
out.
Ball loose, and it's going to be Stewart Broncos. That's the 31st turnover created this year by the Stewart Broncos.
Yeah, the completion into the hands of Colt Van An, and then he had it knocked away. It was both Atwood Albright and Owen Littow there, and Littow gets the recovery, so Van An will get a catch for about 6 yards, but then he loses the fumble. It was Littow who forced it. Atwood Albright recovers, and a big play from the Bronco defense.
Now if the offense can get things rolling here, Littow in the backfield, and the ball snapped, and we're going to have a false start. I think Cameron Kaup's right now in his head with that injury. That's going to be, I believe, a false start. Might have even been on the center there, and that's going to bring up a now first down and 20 as the Broncos pick up the penalty. The ball goes now back in the Broncos' 39-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely some discomfort for Cameron Kaup with that left wrist. They retaped it there on that defensive possession, and so that left wrist heavily taped for Kaup, but first and 20, Stewart back on its own side of the 40.
And he snaps with that left hand. Back to Rum. Back to pass. Here comes some pressure. Going to throw it. Caught by Schmaderer. And Drew's going to be brought down about the 30-yard line. Going to be picked up of 11 and bring up a second down and about 9.
Yeah, first person that Drew had to avoid was his own blocker, as Albright was kind of flashing across there, and Drew had to sidestep him. He'll pick up 11, and it'll be getting the penalty yardage back and a little more on Drew's first catch.
Get
so
to
second about 10.
Yeah, get to that 20. They'll get that first down. Here's an option read, and it's going to be Cade Rum getting that first down inside the 20 down to the 19 on his first run. And the first down for the Stewart Broncos comes with 2:31 to go here in the first quarter, trailing 6-0.
Yeah, first down for Stewart, 11 yards for Rum to the 19. And now Stewart trying to take advantage of yet another turnover forced by their defense. Boy, this game couldn't have started any better for Leyton, a score and a stop, but then turning over, and here comes Stewart inside the Leyton 20 with a fresh set of downs.
All right, they're going to have back there Rum and Schmaderer. Going to hand this one off to Drew. He's going to get up inside the 15, still pumping his feet. They're trying to rip the ball out of his hands. by Van An, but holding on to it, Schmatter, and he'll get to the 12.
Yeah, good, tough inside run for Drew. And you're right, Van An at the end was just trying to hold him up and rip the ball away. Good job by Drew, kind of being pulled with the football. So it'll be a gain of 8, second and about 7 for Stewart as they're inside the red zone to the 12-yard line, trailing 6-0. Just a minute 45 to go on our opening quarter. Fast-moving frame.
All right, Stewart staying with that same formation they just had. Here's Rum. They'll hand it off to him. He goes back to pass, looking for a crossing route. He's chased out of the pocket, and Cade will get knocked out of bounds, and it looks like he may have got a couple yards on a great defensive play by Hayek.
In there. Just a nice open field tackle. Rum is pretty elusive when he gets out into the open field. I like how Stewart's giving Cade the run-pass option by not having him take the direct snap. They're snapping it to the up back who's handing it to Cade. But, great open field tackle by Hayek, who's a big kid, 185 pounds. This is a big Leyton team. They go about 170 to 220 across the board. And now third down and about 7 for Stewart at the 11-yard line. Can get a first down at the 4.
Yeah, 1.5 minutes to go here. Leyton trying to get a big stop here. Stewart going to hand this one off, and it's going to go to Cade Rum. He'll lean forward, and he is at the 5-yard line. That should be enough for a first down.
I don't know, going to be very close. I think he needed the 4 code. He's going to get 6, and it's going to be 4th and 1. We really haven't seen Owen Littau handle the ball much as of yet. Just one carry on that kind of bobbled snap that cost a loss of 4. But now 4th down at the 1, or at the 5. They can get a first down at the 4.
Yeah, right. So we're going to see the clock down to 1 minute here in the first quarter. Big possession for both teams, even though it's in the first quarter. Rum's going to go under center. He's going to look to pass wide open. Is Littau. He overshoots him, and that is the defense again for Leyton. Rum had an open Littau, and it will go incomplete. Turnover on downs for the second time today.
Just kind of released that one early and overshot Owen. But that tells you something, that Stewart didn't want to just try to line up and go straight ahead for that 1 yard. On 4th and 1, they tried to go with the pass, and Cade just overshot Littau, and the timing off. Owen hadn't even really turned his head to look. I think it was overthrown to the point he wouldn't have had a chance at it anyway. But the Leyton defense gets a stop at the 5-yard line. And with 53 seconds left, the Warriors leading 6-0 on the road will take over, and Stewart will ask its defense to try to keep Leyton down on this end of the field and get the ball back in good field position.
Yeah, as Greg mentioned, 53 seconds go here the first quarter. Quarterback will be Butler under center, sends a man in motion. That is Van An. Going to go with the quick shovel pass. They're going to kick it back into the hands of Watchorn. He's going to lose yards, but there is what we're talking about. Just a second, Greg. We have an injury. Jeremiah Hayek is down holding his left knee, and now he's being helped up. But you want to talk about, hey, I'm in trouble. I'm just going to pitch it back to somebody else. And then Watchorn grabbed it, had the chance to run or pass it there. I see what we were talking about with, playground or backyard football.
The Broncos sniffed that one out. They tried a little shovel pass to Hayek. He was hit right away, and he just pitched it backwards to Watchorn, who tried a little shake and bake. Stewart had 2 guys there, so they were prepared for that. Hey, the play's not over until that ball's on the ground.
Watchorn looking to run, now looking to pass. He's near the end zone, and he'll dump it off into Borgman's hand. Borgman, a big dude, going to be tackled up around 11. So from in the end zone into the hands of Borgman, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down and manageable, but it does end our first quarter of play. We're in the quarterfinals of the 6-man football playoffs at Stewart, Nebraska. And on the road today, it is the Leyton Warriors, the number 5 seed, leading the 4 seed Stewart Broncos 6-0 on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard.
Thanks to First Stop and all of our Stewart Westholt sportscasters bringing you the broadcast here this afternoon. Good first quarter on the road for the Leyton Warriors. They get a score on the opening drive, have stopped the Broncos twice, including at the Leyton 5-yard line. and now face a third down and about 9 or 8 or about 8 for the at the 11-yard line. They need the 19 for a first down, but leading 6-0 after 10 minutes on the road against the defending state champions.
Two high-powered offenses. Leyton averaging 56 points a game. Stewart 48. Right now it's been basically all defense, and Leyton now will have a little bit of the wind behind them. North-northwest wind. We kicked off at 17 mile per hour. Low snap. And this one going to go back to Butler. Butler going to pass wide open as Watchorn. Watchorn gets up to about the 30-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down. No flag on the play. It does not look like. No, it is not. It's a first down. Leyton just pulling out everything from some trickery moves, Greg, to just a basic pass.
That was a bullet from Butler. I mean a bullet to Watchorn. And that, Cody, already is the 6th different Leyton player to catch a pass. 3 different Leyton players have thrown a pass, and it's a new set of downs.
Butler comes in, 14 passing touchdowns, 850 yards, averaging 57% completion rate each game. Watchorn now going to be split out to the left, as well as Butler, the quarterback, and there's Cade Rum going to jump. Boy, the defense and the Stewart Broncos right now picking up some uncharacteristic penalties.
Yeah, hard count. Didn't even go on 2. That was a second hard hut that brought Cade across the line of scrimmage. So now 1st and 10, football at the 35. And already Leyton has moved out of that deep in their own territory.
Snap back, ball is loose, and the Stewart Broncos get on top of it for their second turnover of the game right at the 30-yard line.
Tommy Paxton.
Come back and hit Butler right in the kneecap and hits the ground. And now can Stewart get something going offensively? The Leyton Warriors, only giving up 24 points a game, have played tremendous defense on the road against the Stewart Broncos here. And it's first down and 15 for the Stewart Broncos on the 36-man football on KBRB Ainsworth, Nebraska. Just start of our second quarter. Big defensive play there for the Broncos. Cade Rum at quarterback. They're going to hand it off to him. He has a chance to run. Looking to pass, still looking. He's going to get this one into the hands of Paxton, and that one's going to go for about 8 yards.
Yeah, good tackle, open field by Watchorn, and he gets up a little gingerly, kind of holding a hamstring, but good throw. Cade had the run-pass option. Looked like he might have a hole, and then it got filled up by a linebacker, so he flipped it out on a crossing route to Tommy Paxton. His first catch, gain of 9. And Stewart moves the football to the Leyton 21, trailing 6-0. But the Bronco defense has now forced 2 turnovers after giving up the opening drive touchdown, and seeing if they can answer here.
Little on the left hip of Cade Rum here. Rum gets the ball, looking for a block. Here comes the outside in, and that is Van Ann. Rum gets away from him here. He'll look to run here. And Cade Rum gets the first down, and he'll lower the shoulder, lean inside the 10 and down to about the 9-yard line. First down on a tough run by Cade Rum and another Leyton Warrior, and that is Butler getting up, limping a little bit.
That was a 6-man football play, Code. Cade looked like he was going to be tackled, then he wanted to flip it to somebody, then the tackler kind of shed off of him, and Cade just took off, and Owen Littow could have potentially picked up a blindside block as on the, they were scrambling across the field, and Owen could have measured up and blown up a Leyton defender, but he pulled up and backed off and did not get that blindside block. Cade picks up an 11 for a first down.
First and goal from the 10. Littow has it off to the left side. He's in the 5, hurdles a guy, leans forward, and he's down at the 1.
What a hard run there for Littow. That's only his second carry. He picks up 9 down to the 1-yard line, and Stewart close 1 yard away from that tying touchdown.
All right, here comes a heavy package as we're going to see Trey Wallinger come in here for Schmatter here. It is second and goal from the 1 here. This is as close as Stewart has been. Last possession, they got to the 5 before a turnover on downs. Can the Leyton Warriors keep this potent Stewart offense out of the end zone? Rum under center. Rum looks, hands, Littow, hits a guy, and he's in for a 1-yard touchdown with 7:11 to go here in the first half. The Broncos have tied it up at 6-all on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard.
Well, and it starts with the defense, Cody. Second turnover in a row forced by the Broncos. They couldn't cash in the first one, turning it over on downs at the 5, but there are a couple of nifty runs, one from Rum, one from Leyton, and Stewart gets on the board, and now these ever-important points after touchdowns.
Great point.
And it's the lane-the-leg bolter, the sophomore, to try for the 2-point kick.
Snap is high. They're going to go with the 1-point pass. Has a man wide open in the end zone. Is Schmatter, and they'll go for the 1 and take the lead. 7-6 after a 1-yard touchdown run after a turnover and a fumble by the Leyton Warriors. It's the Stewart Broncos getting a 1-yard touchdown run by Owen Leyton, and the pass from Bolter to Schmatter, and the Broncos with 7:11 to go in the half lead Leyton 7-6 here in Stewart. Quarterfinal football on KBRB. Well, we welcome you back, Stewart, Nebraska. 2 turnovers by the Leyton Warriors. They were able to fend off one of those, but the second one, the Broncos will get into the end zone and get that extra point lead 7-6. But tell you what, these are 2 teams right now evenly matched, Greg, and you know what? You just got to stay healthy, and both teams have been dinged up a little bit already here in the half as Bolter will kick this one away, and this will be Rhodey picking it up at the 10, trying to go crossfield. He loses the ball, and it is going to be picked up by Rhodey
He
at
was
the 10.
able to get back on it as that one came out again,
Whoa.
but it bounced up into his chest as he fell on it at about the 11-yard line. But, wow, almost an extremely unfortunate turn of events for the Warriors. Fortunately for them, Rhodey was able to fall on that at the 11-yard line. But definitely a little change in momentum, Cody, and it started with those 2 turnovers forced by the defense, and now Stewart the 7-6 lead.
Be looking for Watchorn. He is a stud for the Warriors here, and Leyton has put up nearly 400 yards per game, trailing 7-6, 7:06 to go in the half. This one going to be snap back, Van Ann. He's going to kick it out into the hands of his quarterback, Butler. He's going to throw, and he's going to be short-hopped it right about the first down marker. Intended target was Alec Watchorn, but the pressure was coming from the backside by the Stewart Broncos.
Cody, that's the first incomplete pass thrown by Leyton in this game. They were with 3 different passers, 8 for 8 before that miss, but now 2nd and 15 deep in their own territory at the 11, and it looks like, Cody, after early trying to figure this Leyton team out with the pitches and the RPOs, Stewart looks like they're settling in a little bit on the defensive side.
A little bit, but again, Watchorn, he's a man to watch. He's split out to the right side here. Again, you have a couple back of the back to receive the ball. This one's going to be pitched out into the hands of Van Ann. Now he's going to throw it to the middle of the field, and it's going to be great defense by Schmatter, knocking it out of the hands of Alec Watchorn, and that is what we've seen from a Drew Schmatter all year long.
That was a fantastic play. Watchorn started down the right side, then cut all the way across the field on a crossing route, and Drew Schmatter was with him step for step, stayed right on his hip, and then reached over with his opposite hand and broke up the pass as it came in. That's just fantastic defensive back play from the senior.
And Greg, I believe this is the first 3rd and 15 we've seen today for Leyton Warriors. Butler will be the quarterback. Ball's loose again. They're going to kick it out to Butler. He's getting chased. He'll throw it in. It's going to be incomplete, and 4th down, and the Stewart Broncos will finally get a possible 4 and out.
Yeah, that was another dangerous play. That snap a little low down around the shins of the up back, and it just threw the timing off. By the time they scooped it up and pitched it back to Butler, Butler had somebody bearing down on him immediately. And you're seeing for Stewart this defense start to get a little bit more aggressive in chasing after Butler, and and forcing quicker decisions. So right now, Leyton not into real punt formation here at their own 11.
They do have their kicker Miller back there, so he does punt it. Boy, a dandy. Going to go into Stewart territory, hit about the 33, roll down to about the 26, nearly the 25-yard line. Nice kick for Caleb Miller out of his own end zone, but that is the first 4 and out for Stewart's defense, although they have created 2 turnovers today, Greg.
Yeah, and since that opening drive touchdown for Leyton, 3 more possessions, 2 turnovers, and as you mentioned, a 3 and out, and Stewart gets the football back. 6:38 to go in the half, now leading 7-6 on the Tri-County Bank scoreboard, and the Broncos the football back at the 26-yard line.
Leyton looking now to bring in their defense that they had in that first possession against the Stewart Broncos. Boy, the Broncos using up a lot of their play clock here as they come up. As we see in for the first time, Briar Almgren, 190-pound junior, playing at end on the right side. He'll go a little bit of motion, looking for him to be a blocking back. Hand this one off to Littown. He's going to be met behind the line of scrimmage. Ball's loose, picked up by Almgren. Watchorn giving chase, and that's going to turn into about an 11-yard pickup. And that fumble, I believe, was created by Van Ann and then picked up by Almgren, and he's going to get near midfield, and it's going to be, how about a 14-yard pickup?
Wow, that is fortunate for the Broncos. That ball got knocked out of the arms of Littow, and just a heads-up play for Almgren, not only scooping it up, but then finding some room around the right side and to pick up 14 yards.
How about that ball just shy of midfield here in Stewart, Nebraska. Clock down to 5:57 to go in the half. Stewart up 7-6, trying to tack another one on. Going to go back to pass, going to send a man out. And this one intended for Atwood Albright and can't bring it in.
It was just a little bit underthrown. It got held up in that northwest wind as Cade was throwing it right into the teeth of that wind. It was a really well-designed play. Albright had 2 or 3 steps, but the ball just hung a little bit on the play action. But a great time, Cody, to go for play action when it's 2nd and 1. You still have your entire playbook open, but tried for the home run ball there. And Cade kind of lofted that one up because he knew his receiver was open, but the wind, you could just see kind of grab it. And Almgren Atwood Albright had to slow down and wasn't able to bring it in as the defender recovered.
All right, run back under center. Goes to... handed off to the up back on Littow, and he fumbles it right at the 39-yard line.
Never got the handoff as that one went right off the upper thigh of Littow, and it was recovered by Austin Butler. And now Leyton's defense gets the big turnover. This is a team we told you that forced 22 turnovers. That one was really kind of self-inflicted for Stewart as Littow never got a hold of that handoff from Rum, and Butler was there to fall on it.
All right, first turnover for the Broncos. Outside of turnovers on down, and now right at midfield, Leyton trying to capitalize here. Going to go back with the pass. This one going to go with the hook and ladder, and they're going to get it out into the hands of Van Ann, and he's finally going to be brought down near the 20-yard line, and that's going to be a pickup of about 18, Greg, about the 22.
Well, that's a play right out of Stewart's book there as they go with the old hook and ladder, the little hook route, and then the pitch to Van Ann. 18 yards and a first down to the Stewart 22.
Boy, Leyton looking good here. How about that? But tell you what, Greg, most of the fumbles that we've seen today have been, self-imposed, both Leyton and Stewart today. Kind of hard holding on to a football on a beautiful day, a little bit of wind here. Quarterback Butler for Leyton Warriors wants the ball. He looks, shovel pass, another little hook and ladder in the hands of Watchorn. He's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. Going to give him about 6-7 yards.
Kind of fun to watch these little plays. They go with a shovel pass and then a little handoff on a reverse.
You remember when you were, about 12, 13, just getting ready to go into junior high, and you're like out there in the sand and dirt, and you're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go here, you're going to go here, and this is going to happen. Hey, we're seeing that right now, and Leyton putting it to perfection right now. Calvin Borgman, 180-pound junior, going to be split out to the left side here for the Warriors. Boy, look at the eye back. He's 11 yards behind line of scrimmage. This is going to go to Watchorn. They were going to try another hook and ladder, but the receiver, Hayek, was too deep. But another pass completion, and inside the red zone, down to the 11, bringing up a 3rd down and 5 for the Warriors.
Yeah, it'll be a completion to Watchorn of about 4. And so it'll set up 3rd down, 2-down territory here. Ball just shy of the 10. They need about the 7-yard line, so third and about 4 yards or so.
Just under 5 minutes to go in the half. Leyton trying to retake the lead after they struck on their opening drive. They led 6-0, trail 7-6. This is a new pass from Borgman and nearly picked off.
Boy, Drew Schmatter jumped that route, and I think he just went for the knockaway. If he would have got both hands up, he timed that perfectly. He'd have had a shot for the interception, but he just got one hand up there, knocked it away on that quick little out route.
Greg, I have that as the first pass attempt of the year for Borgman.
Oh, that was him throwing
Yeah, number
that
24,
pass.
yeah.
Okay.
Number 24 there.
Well, that's a fourth player then that's attempted a pass for Leyton.
I love your stat sheet.
Yeah,
Split
it's
out.
already looking funny.
All right, here we go. We're going to go with the offset formation here on the left side here for the Warriors. They'll send a motion van and pitch it out. This can be Watchorn looking pass run option. Cade Rum going to pitch it out into the hands of Butler. Butler's going to get inside the 10 down to about the 5 and then keep walking it to about the 4-yard line. Going to pick up about 6-7 yards there again.
Yeah, he got the first down, and that was a great play as Cade Rum had Watchorn wrapped up, but Butler was able to get away from Tommy Paxton, who's the other defensive end, and Watchorn was able to find him 7 yards and a first down on that fourth down. So it is first and goal at the 4. Leyton down 7-6 with 4:39 to go.
Big center Caleb Miller. Nobody off to his right side. Quarterback Butler pitches left side. Watchorn trying to get to the outside. Nigel Addison trying to make the tackle, and he does about the 2-yard line. Good play for Nigel Addison, the 145-pound sophomore.
Yeah, they'll knock down Watchorn 2 yards shy. Cade Rum was bearing down on him as well, but Nigel was able to fight off a block on the edge and get a hold of Watchorn before he could get the corner, but still 3 downs to get 2 yards in the 8-man game. This will be tough for the Stewart defense. 4:10 to play in the half. Leyton trying to regain the lead. Great quarterfinal game here at Stewart Park.
All right, quarterback is Butler once again. Going to go with the option out to Watchorn to the right side, following his blocker, and he's in from 2 yards out, and Leyton takes the lead. 12-7, 3:56 to go in our first half. Nothing fancy, just kind of a pitch play out to the right side, Greg, and just followed his blockers, not being impatient. And how about this Leyton Warrior team coming here into Stewart saying, we're here to play today?
Well, physically, they are right there with Stewart as far as having athletes and some size. And basically, this Stewart better buckle up. This is going to be a 4-quarter nail-biter the way the Leyton Warriors look.
All right, Miller getting ready to kick this one. He missed the last one wide left. This one is blocked.
Nigel Addison got the block.
Boy, how big, especially in 6-man football, are the 2-point kicks. Right now, with 3:56 to go in the first half, Leyton regains the lead, and on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard, they lead Stewart 12-7. Quarterfinal football on KBRB. Well, both teams have been able to capitalize on the other team's turnover. A fumble at midfield by Leyton turns into 6 points, and a 2-yard touchdown run by Alec Watchorn as he finds himself in the end zone. It looks like rushing for his 20th rushing touchdown of the year.
I'm impressed with this Leyton team, Cody, offensively and defensively. It's a good football team.
Is this how you used to kick the ball, Greg, when you were the kicker?
Oh no, I had the big square toe, Code.
Okay.
I had the actual wooden block at the end.
Oh my, onside kick, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by Leyton. Yeah, they put it down like a watermelon, and they kick it, and it just squib kicked, and nobody got to it. Need to be there right at the 10-yard mark, and it was recovered by the Warriors. Yeah. Hunter Borges, yes. I tell you what, Leyton just is pulling out everything today.
Well, you know what? Nothing to lose. You're against the defending champion.
Right.
You're on the road. Hey, we're gonna see the hook and ladder. We're gonna see some end rounds. We're gonna see all kinds of things. And how about a little onside kick that Leyton recovers, and now up 12-7, 3:54 to go in the half. The Warriors right back to work on offense.
Boy, I tell you what, Coach Sherman is going to have his work cut out at halftime talking to these youngsters. Leyton with the football here. Butler looks, pitches it out. Watchorn looking to pass. Here comes a little bit of heat. Kicks it off into the hands of Butler. He's looking to run here. And there's a block in the back. And now we're going to have it knocked out of bounds at the 30.
Pretty easy to see there.
Miller couldn't hold off.
Yeah, Owen Littau was bearing down, and Caleb Miller saw, and he went ahead and made it anyway. He's like, what did I do? Well, 3 officials saw that one. Block in the back is going to push Leyton back 10 yards. Just the second penalty against the Warriors. Both have gone on Caleb Miller, who's had otherwise a very good ball game in this first half, but had the 15-yard unsportsmanlike and now gets the 10-yard block in the back. So this pushes the football to the 33-yard line of Leyton. 3:44 to go. Warriors with a football after recovering the onside kick, leading 12-7 over Stewart here in the quarterfinals, the D6 State Football Playoff.
Hike and Watchorn split out to the right side. Have a split to the left side. Looks like Borges. Quarterback is Butler, kind of the I formation in 6-man football. Going to go with the shovel pass in. Tried the hook and ladder.
Oh,
and
my. I think they called him down. Yeah, they're going to call Miller down at the 34, which is a break. He just flailed that ball backwards toward Watchorn, who had to cover it up at the 30. It'll go for a gain of 2 on the completion of Miller, but again, they wanted that little shovel pass and then a pitch.
You're seeing it's either hook and ladder or pitch. If I see contact and I see somebody open, I'm going to get it to him. It's going to bring up a second down and 22 from the 34. Clock down to 3:10 to go in the half. Leyton Warriors have to be happy, but they did come in here thinking they were going to lose, Greg. They're coming in at 8-1. Their only loss to Garden County. The only loss for Stewart, also Garden County. They're going to pitch this one back to pass is going to go. Butler again trying to go downfield, and the ball's going to be tipped away again. Great defensive play by Drew Schmatter. Doesn't get much better than that. That was 5-on-5.
What a matchup that is, Cody. Those two athletes going toe-to-toe, one-on-one, and that is the second or third time that Drew's got the better of the matchup. Just picture perfect defense. If you're watching this on the Stewart Public School video stream, you cannot play defense against a pass any better than Drew Schmatter's played it the last couple times they've tried to find Watchorn with the deep ball.
Clock stops, 2:53 to go in the first half. Third down to 22 for Leyton. Their own 34-yard line. Both teams have all 3 timeouts left. This is Van Ann sending Watchorn in motion. Van Ann kicks it to Butler. Butler getting chased by Rum. Now has a chance to run. He's got plenty of room. And it looks like we're going to have a hold.
Yep,
and that is going to go on Miller looks
again,
like,
and he just
tackled.
Yeah, tackled Littau, didn't he?
Yep.
So it's downfield, so there will be a gain on this play.
Going to mark him down at about the 20, we'll call it the 29-yard line, Greg, of
30,
Stewart.
Yeah,
I'm seeing where the officials are.
Yeah, the flags at the 32 or 3. Yep. So that'll cost him 10 yards from there, and that's another penalty on Miller. This will still end up as a gain for Butler. Well, let's see where they're going to march it. Yeah, it won't be a lot, but they'll have a short gain.
Oh, no, going to get
3 yards.
About 3 yards there, yeah.
And they'll get the down back, so now it's third and about, 20 or so, Code? We have 2:43 to go in the half, 12-7. Leyton leading, but now third and long after the holding penalty.
Watchorn split out to the right side. Coming left is Borges. This time they're going to have back there Hayek as well as Butler. Going to pitch this one out back to pass. It's going to be Van Ann loading up. Looking back. You're smarter. Nearly picks it off. What a great battle. And you see Watchorn wanting the flag, but if anything, might have been offensive. I like how they let them play. Both guys coming back for the ball.
Boy, Drew just played that again so well. He turned, looked for the football. There was a little hand fighting. But you also had, Code, on that play, Jeremiah Hayek cramped up or something happened. He just, in the middle of the play, started limping around, and now he's down over on that far sideline holding his left leg.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what happened, but, boy, right in the middle of that play, he kind of came up lame. And another great play defensively for Drew Schmaderer as he is drawing that one-on-one assignment with Watchorn. And it's 4th and 20 after he knocks yet another pass away.
The punter is not back to punt here. So it looks like Leyton going to go for it here. They're going to go with the hook and ladder again. And the ball is going to be corralled and brought out of bounds. Nigel Addison will bring the receiver Van Ann out, but it will be not enough for a first down. Stewart will get the ball about their own 33-yard line. Good defensive play on another hook and ladder.
Yeah, they had a hat on a hat and had everybody accounted for. So even with the lateral, there were 2 Broncos there. Van Ann was able to shake the first one, but the Broncos get him out of bounds. And on 4th and about 20, they pick up 8 yards. And Stewart now with 2:29 and a full complement of timeouts remaining takes over at its own 33-yard line. Broncos get a stop, but down 12-7. Can they get a score before the half? Stewart will get the football to start the second half.
Tom Paxton split out here to the right side. Nobody off to the left. Littau going to be the back right off the left hip. He'll pass it back to Cade Rum. Cade has an option to pass. He's back there getting chased. Now looks, and he's going to be sacked. Big loss. Going to be a loss of about 7 here. Cade Rum couldn't find anybody open, and that right there is why you have heard 70-plus tackles for loss for the Leyton Warriors. There's another one.
Yeah, that was Van Ann on the sack, and again, that was more a coverage sack as a couple of up backs were blocking and just nowhere to go with the football for Rum, and he couldn't shake Colt Van Ann. You know, we've seen Cade Rum in past games and years make that first guy miss, and credit Van Ann, he was right there, wrapped him up around the waist, brought him down for the 7-yard loss.
2nd and long. This is Rum back to pass, looking. He's going to go screen pass. Schmaderer breaks free. He's near midfield, gets a block, and he's going to be shy of that first down by about 2 yards before he's roughed up by Miller again.
That'll go for about 19 yards on the completion to Drew Schmaderer, who is really flashing on both sides here for Stewart. And it'll be 3rd down and about, we'll call it 3 at the Leyton 34-yard line. They need the 31 and a half. 1:15 to go in the half. Stewart's got to hustle a little. They do have three timeouts.
That's right. Cade Rum by himself in the backfield. Check the play here. Does Stewart Broncos. Rum looking. 10-second count on. Going to go with a handoff to Schmaderer. Schmaderer leans, tries to get the first down, and he's going to be shy by a yard, and the clock is going to go under a minute to go, and a timeout by Coach Colin Sherman. 55.8 seconds to go in the half. What a defensive play there by Leyton.
Yeah, excellent tackle by Calvin Borgman in the open field on Schmaderer as he just raced out there, got his helmet on Drew's outside leg and just took him to the ground. A gain of only 1. Stewart uses its first timeout. 56 seconds to go in our first half. 12-7 Leyton leading Stewart in this 4-5 matchup of the Class D6 state football quarterfinals. Leyton up by 5. Stewart with a 4th and 1 at the Leyton 33-yard line, trailing by 5.
Tell you what, Leyton coming in here, some big dudes, as we mentioned, Greg, and tell you what, everything out. We talked about just that last possession. We saw number 24 make his first pass attempt of the year. And I tell you what, how many people you say have caught the ball in this game already?
Yeah.
Outside of 4 people passing the ball?
4 people have passed the ball for Leyton. They're now up to 6 different receivers who have caught at least a pass in the first half.
And then you probably have that many that have ran the ball also today for Leyton. So they're really mixing it up here. Stewart, kind of the basic heavy package in here, looks like, with Littau here. 2 timeouts for Stewart, all 3 timeouts for Leyton. But I've been really impressed with the Leyton defense, only giving up 24 points a game. Stewart averaging 48 a game. How about this? Under center, it's Atwood Albright is going to go under center. Nope, he's going to be out to the left side. They're going to hand this off. Cade Rum, he's going to run this one. He's going to get the first down, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line, down about the 27.
Watchorn had a chance at him before the first down marker, but Cade was able to elude that. He kind of dove toward Cade's thigh, and Cade was able to just kind of shuffle away from him. He needed a yard. He's going to pick up about 6. Let's call it 7 for Rum. And he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. 49.5 seconds left. Stewart picks up the first down, but again, it takes them 4 downs, Cody, to get that new set of downs.
All right, this is going to be Atwood off the left hip here of Rum going to hand this one off to Atwood, and he's going to go forward for about 3 yards. Brought down in there by number 21, Miller and company.
Van Ann was in there from that right defensive end spot, and be a short gain of about 4 yards for Atwood Albright. Stewart has to take another timeout. Cody, nothing easy for this Stewart offense in this game. Been very impressed Leyton defensively. These two teams almost mirror images of each other. Leyton, from a play calling standpoint, likes to go with a lot more of the, hey, let's flip it around to everybody, and Stewart more traditional with their quarterback, running back game. But it's a fun matchup, and this Leyton defense has been impressive in the first half.
And nothing against the Leyton pitching around everybody, but some of those have been pretty iffy when they've had some contact, luckily to hold on to the football. But again, each team has been able to capitalize on a turnover by the other team. Leyton ended up getting a touchdown after a fumble, and then after a fumble by Stewart, Watchorn gets a short touchdown. But man, what a football game we have here in the quarterfinals. Other matchups, Garden County and Silver Lake should be underway. Later tonight, Southwest against SEM and Wallace against Red Cloud. Second down and 12 here for the Broncos on their Leyton 23-yard line. Try to regain the lead here. Rum back to pass. He's going to hit one short, and that one's going to go to Leyton, and he's going to be brought down about the 16-yard line, and the clock going to continue to run here.
Yeah, Stewart down to one timeout, so they need to go quickly. Third down and about 6. It's going to be a completion of 6 to Leyton.
Rum can't run the ball. He's looking to pass. He's just going to have to throw this one away. That is the deal here, Greg, that we've seen with Stewart. Did not have the run-pass option there for Rum. If he could run, he has a chance to maybe pick up 8-10 yards there, maybe even towards the end zone. They left him wide open. They didn't care about him because they knew he couldn't run, so they covered the receivers.
So now fourth down. Yep, 19 seconds left. Stewart does have one timeout. We'll see if they'll use it here.
They do.
It's going to be 4th and about 6 for Stewart, maybe 5.5 in there somewhere. But Stewart will use that final timeout. So, Cody, you would guess here that even if they get the sticks, they'd have to get up and spike it quickly. So they may design a play to try to see if they can score here right before the half. This is going to be a pivotal play because Stewart does get the football to start the second half, but things have been a little tough to come by offensively.
You know, when Stewart had a chance to score right after Leyton did, they went on a, 4th down and goal from about the 5, and they went with the pass out to Leyton, who was wide open, but Rum just overshot him. I don't know if we'll see that here, but whatever it is, I'm sure Coach Sherman is saying, you catch it, you can't find the end zone, get yourself out of bounds. If we got to get that first down first, though. But how about this Leyton defense? I tell you, we've mentioned this numerous times. This is my first time seeing them. Leyton fans listening to us, watching us, whatever you're doing, you're like, we've done this all year except for maybe one game against Garden County, as was the case for Stewart. But this Leyton team, I like their defense. All right, Here we go. 4th down. Big play for both teams with 19.3 seconds to go in the half. Ball is snapped low. Rum looking for it. He'll pick it up. And he's going to be sacked back at the original line of scrimmage, clear back at the 27-yard line, and another tackle for loss.
Yeah, and that's Van Ann again, and that one just no chance. The snap was low, and we told you that Cameron Kalb's been battling kind of a left wrist injury. He's their snapper, and that snap was low. Leyton couldn't scoop it up. Cade could. But by the time he was able to pick it up, there was just nothing but number 11, Colt Van Ann, all over him. And so the Warriors get a stop, and with 14 seconds left, you can bet they'll try to do something fancy here.
Yeah, watch for Watchorn here. Ball's loose here. Rum giving chase, and it's going to be a sack back at the 11-yard line by Cade Rum as the ball comes out. But they're going to say he was down, and that's going to be the end of the first half. What a dandy from Stewart Park, Stewart, Nebraska. The home team, the 4-seed Stewart Broncos, and the defending 6-man state champions are trailing 12-7 at the half to the number 5-seed Leyton Warriors. On our Tri-County Bank scoreboard, we will come back and take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by the Tri-County Banks right after these words.
Performance, coverage, and affordability. Designed and manufactured to consistently exceed those demands mile after mile, job after job, and season after season. When it comes to
Leyton Medicare Skilled Nursing Facility offers 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week professional nursing services, including hospice, adult daycare, and respite care. Parkside Manor offers both short-term rehabilitation and long-term care. Parkside Manor and Stewart. Our business is caring. Call today, 402-924-3601.
Get your car back to its classy glory. There are only so many hours in a day, so why waste any of them wrecking your car when you can make a quick trip to Hutchinson's Buggy Dash? Simply use your card or tap, use your wallet, get it in and out fast. It's a convenient, effective, hassle-free clean, and their products are growing success. Inspiring customers having such a growing experience. Save outside of grime and water spot worries with Buggy Dash.
Helps Financial Advisor, financial income tax specialist with over 40 years experience. Besides professional staff, Jobs Financial Advisors offer income tax preparation by planning and advance the role of insurance projects, in addition to a wide variety of investment products. Help you retire successfully so you can successfully stay retired. Financial Planning and Investment Advisory Services offer through Prosperity Capital Advisor. Financial Planning and Investment Advisory Services offer through Prosperity Capital Advisor, an SEC registered investment advisor. PCA does not provide tax or legal advice. Information and strategy from this message should not be viewed as an investment advice.
Back here at Stewart Park, Stewart, Nebraska. Halftime of our quarterfinal matchup in six-man football here this afternoon, and it has been a dandy. Hope you enjoy. Glad to have you along wherever you're listening on KBRB FM 92.7, our website, kbrb.net, or the Stewart streaming channel here today. I'm Cody Gucci, Greg Kinsey along here with us today. Leyton coming a day early this week. They didn't want to sit on the bus for 4 hours today, so Leyton came yesterday up in this neck of the woods to take on Stewart. They had to travel the furthest out of all six-man teams, 304 miles here, and they're making it the best of it with a 12-7 lead here at the half. And Greg Kinsey, both teams hitting hard and creating some turnovers, and we have ourselves a low-scoring football game here at the half.
Boy, very impressed with this Leyton team in the first 20 minutes of football. They have athletes, and as much as they run a lot of different schemes offensively to try to get their players open in space, it's been the defense that I've been extremely impressed with. Colt Van Ann has been a game wrecker from that right defensive end spot. They're disciplined. They really attack downhill. And, you know, we told you they had 72 tackles for loss in their first 9 games, and they've added to that with another 5. Let's call it. We've had a Leyton with, 5 tackles for loss in the first half in this game. They've also recovered an onside kick and a fumble. Stewart has 2 fumble recoveries. This is a tight ball game. Leyton 133 yards of offense, Stewart with 111 yards. So it's not been as easy as Leyton has seen it for a lot of this year, where they average more than 11 yards a rush and 16 yards per pass completion. But the same can be said. It's been tough sledding for Stewart offensively as well.
Yeah, right, Greg. But one thing that I've seen out of Leyton Warriors is we said everybody's eligible in six-man football, and they are using every man on offense for the Leyton Warriors. Right now, it's just been kind of Cade Rum, Owen Littau, Drew Schmatter, and maybe one pass to Atwood Albright, and it's been those 4 guys on the other side. Leyton's had 4 guys pass the ball, 6 guys catch or run the ball, and they're just throwing everything they can at you to try to make it into the semifinals and, get an upset here today. And right now, leading 12-7, and you have our stats here at the half.
I'm going to flat out tell you, my stat sheet for Leyton is a mess. It just it's got stuff everywhere. 4 different players have thrown a pass. 6 different players have caught a pass. We've had hook and laterals. We've had shovel pass handoffs. We've had all kinds of stuff for the Warriors.
I love how you got to do the hook and ladder. Who caught the pass, but who got the yardage?
The reception goes to one player and the yardage goes to the other. So it is a mess is what it is. But we can tell you we'll start on our Tri-County Bank halftime show with our scoring summary. The Leyton Warriors take the opening kickoff after Stewart deferred its option and drive 60 yards in 9 plays, scoring on an 8-yard touchdown pass from Austin Butler to Caleb Miller. And the one-point try failed, and the kick failed after a penalty. And that was 6-0 Leyton with 6:03 to go. That 60-yard, 9-play drive took 3:57 off the first quarter clock. And then it was Leyton getting a stop and getting the football back, but fumbling it away. So there was 6-0 Leyton after 1 quarter of play. Stewart, after getting a fumble that was recovered by Tommy Paxton, scores on a 1-yard Owen Littow touchdown run, capped a 30-yard drive after the Leyton fumble. Lane Bolter completes the 1-point pass to Drew Schmatter, and Stewart had its first lead at 7-6. But Leyton answers right backs after a Stewart fumble, scoring with 3:56 to go after Austin Butler recovered a Bronco fumble. A 2-yard Alec Watchhorn touchdown run. The kick was blocked by Nigel Addison. It was 12-7. Leyton at that point. Leyton then recovered an onside kick, but failed to advance the ball. And Stewart takes over and has a drive toward the end of the half, but loses it on 4th down with a sack, and Leyton able to escape the half with the lead, 12-7. It is the Leyton Warriors, the 5 seed, 8-1 on the year, leading the defending state champion Stewart Broncos, the 4 seed, at 8-1 on the year. It's our halftime show brought to you by the Tri-County Bank. Free Kasasa checking accounts are all about growth. Take care of your money with monthly cash rewards for doing the banking basics. With a Kasasa account from the Tri-County Bank, you receive rewards on ATM withdrawal fees if you meet your monthly qualifications. There's no monthly maintenance fee and no minimum balance requirement. Stop by one of the TCB branches in Stewart, Atkinson, Bassett, or O'Neill, or visit the TriCountyBank.com. Qualifications, rules, and limitations apply. Rates, rewards, and restrictions vary by account. The Tri-County Bank is member FDIC. We'll take a break, come back, go through the first half statistics for both teams, get our thoughts on what you might see adjustment-wise from both squads as we head to the second half. It is a good one here in the state football quarterfinals of Class D6. The Leyton Warriors leading the Stewart Broncos 12-7. Back with more on our halftime show after these messages.
Super B Automotive, the specialist for just about anything on wheels. With their years of experience, they fix all types of vehicles. Super B Automotive will diagnose the problem and repair it right there in the shop. From simple oil changes to remanufactured engines and transmissions, they can handle it and they work fast. Super B Automotive, specialists in general auto repair, doing their part to keep you and your family safe on the road. You can rely on Super B Automotive west of Stewart on Highway 20. Work fast and good.
Welcome you back here to our Tri-County Bank halftime show on KBRB, as it is the Leyton Warriors on the road leading the Stewart Broncos 12-7. Let's take a look at the statistics for both teams. And again, two teams that really have scored a lot of points this year. We told you about their point averages, but this is two teams today that have been relying on the defense. And it is shown in the statistics as 32 plays for 133 yards for Leyton. That's about 4 to 4.5 yards per play for the Warriors. And again, we told you 11 yards every time they rush the ball in the season, 16 yards every time they complete a pass. 32 plays for 133 yards of offense for Leyton. 13 rushes, just 19 yards. Alec Watchhorn has 9 carries for 37 yards and a 2-yard touchdown. And then it is Austin Butler, who's been harassed in the backfield by the Broncos. He has 4 carries for a loss of 18 yards, including a loss of 14 on that final play of the half on the poor snap where he had to go back, recover the fumble, and was taken down. So 13 rushes for just 19 total yards. 4 different Warriors have thrown a pass combined. Leyton is 13 for 19 for 114 yards and a touchdown thrown by Austin Butler to Caleb Miller on the game's opening possession. Receiving-wise, Colt Van Ann has 5 grabs for 49 yards in total. 2 catches for Caleb Miller for 10 yards. 2 catches for Austin Butler, who's thrown a majority of the passes. He has 2 catches for 16 yards. 2 catches for Alec Watchorn for 22 yards. 1 catch for Jeremiah Hayek for 11 yards. And 1 catch for Calvin Borgman for 7 yards. So that's a total of 32 plays, 133 yards of offense for Leyton. For the Stewart Broncos, it's been tough sledding for them as well offensively. You have Cade Rum, 9 carries, but for just 19 yards, including that 10-yard sack on 4th down in the final minute where the snap was not handled cleanly. He was sacked 1 other time for a loss of 7 yards. Those go against his rushing stats. 9 carries for 19 yards for Cade Rum. 3 carries for 13 yards for Drew Schmaderer. 3 carries for just 6 yards for Owen Littow. He has not carried the ball much in this game. He does have the 1-yard touchdown run. 1 carry for 14 yards for Briar Almgren. That came on a fumble recovery that he scooped up. And 1 carry for 4 yards for Atwood Albright. Cade Rum through the air, 5 for 8 passing for 55 yards. 2 catches for 30 yards for Drew Schmaderer. 1 catch for 10 yards for Atwood Albright. 1 catch for 9 yards for Tom Paxton. And it was 1 catch for 6 yards for Owen Littow. That's your stats for the Stewart Broncos. 25 total plays for Stewart, 111 yards of offense. So 22 yards more in offense for Leyton, and they've run 7 more plays than the Broncos. Stewart has forced 2 fumbles. Atwood Albright recovered a fumble that was forced by Owen Littow in the first quarter. Tommy Paxton recovered a fumble on a bobbled snap in the second quarter. For Leyton, they recovered a fumble on a poor snap. Austin Butler with the recovery, and then Leyton also recovered an onside kick, so pretty even on that standpoint. We told you in the pregame, Cody and I would talked about that turnovers might be a big factor. Well, that's kind of a wash right now, but it's a tight one. 12-7 Leyton leading Stewart. Code, your second half adjustments for both these teams.
Well, not to take anything from these high school kids, but it looked like maybe an extra step in Leyton. And I think Coach Colin Sherman can talk to his boys and say, boys, we need this extra step. We need to block a little bit better. We have to be ready. Onside kick, we have to be at that 10-yard mark area, be ready to recover that. We just can't sit back and think that they're going to give it to us right now. And I think one thing we're going to see out of the Stewart Broncos, maybe try to get to the outside a little bit more as, everything's been basically up the middle on the running side of the game. But we'll see. I tell you what do you do if you're Leyton on offense? They have already done everything that they can basically do. Pitch it here, pitch it there, pass here or there to everybody. And I think right now, one of the big keys for me, I think, is find a way to get Drew Schmaderer the quick back to get you guys some yards, get you there. You get inside the 5, then go with the heavy back and things like that. And maybe work a little bit on the outside, Greg. But I tell you what, they need to find an extra step here. Stewart did defer the toss, and they should get the ball here in the second half.
Yeah, the wind's still mainly out of the north, kind of swirling just a bit right now. Stewart will get the football to start the second half. Leyton 6 first downs. Stewart with just 3 in that first half. Leyton penalized 3 times for 32 yards. Broncos penalized twice for 10 yards. So we're ready for the second half of football. Leyton leading Stewart 12-7. Warriors in their white tops with the black pants, kind of a scarlet and gold color scheme. And Stewart in their home maroon uniforms with the white numbers and letters, the white helmet with the maroon horseshoe. The defending 6-man champs, the target on their back, and the Leyton Warriors trying to end their chance at the repeat. And look at this, Code, how Miller is lining up the ball to kick. He
Exactly
sets
what
that down just like he did the first half.
Yeah, he did that, and they recovered the onside kick, and they kicked it towards Atwood Albright. See if those boys are ready for this one here as he kicks this one. This one will hit and picked up at the 15 by Nigel Addison. He's at the 20, 25, gets a great block. He's at the 30, dances around, fumbles the ball. He'll pick it back up. He's going the opposite way, and now he's going to be hit across the top of the helmet and brought down at about the 24-yard line.
That was active on a kick return. Looked like he was going to break free. Then the ball got popped loose about 5 yards back. He scrambled, scooped it up. Then it looked like about got his head taken off. And after all is said and done, Stewart will get the football at about the 24-yard line. Down 12-7. Code, this is an important drive to start the second half for the Broncos. See if they can maybe establish Owen Littow a little bit in the run game.
All right, Tom Paxton on the end on the right side. Rum under center. Littow takes the ball. He gets up to about the 25 before he's going to be brought down by Hayek. He's having a great defensive game after a 3-yard pickup there.
Yeah, Hayek just shed the block of Trey Wallinger there and dropped Littow as soon as he tried to cut it back to his left. You mentioned that, Cody, that Broncos need to hold on to their blocks a little bit longer, and that time Trey Wallinger, it was just shed by Hayek, and he holds Littow to a gain of about 3 yards to the 27, so 2nd and 12.
Van and right in playing at basically nose guard is going to be Miller. You don't see that very often in six-man football. Looks like they're bringing a little bit of heat here. Back to pass is Rum. He is going to be brought down behind. Lost his helmet, so we have a flag down. That should stop the play.
Yeah,
the whistle should, as soon as his helmet goes off, we finally got that whistle.
Yeah,
but
that's Miller gain. Cade Rum not happy. That's going to be another penalty, I believe, on the Warriors as Cade Rum had his helmet ripped off. And we're going to see what the call is. It is a personal foul face mask. Cade is unhappy. And that's another penalty on Miller. He has been penalized quite a bit, including an unsportsmanlike. And so we're going to see 15 yards, I believe, from the original line of scrimmage on the face mask penalty. And Cade just making sure his neck's still attached. I think that was pretty rough.
He should be able to go in even though his helmet came off
because on a penalty.
Because it was a penalty. That's correct. So Rum will be able to come in. It'll be a first down and 15 now for the Broncos. But again, not giving Cade the run pass option, sending him under center, and they're bringing the nose guard. Coming up there is Miller, just busting right through that line.
Yeah, there's not much time, Cody, for the Broncos to operate in the just true drop back passing game. It's more you're going to probably need to work more on the shotgun and give Cade that run pass option. But a first down at the 39 of Leyton.
Here comes Rum. He can't run. He looks to pass. Here comes the chase by Miller. You throw this one up there. Going to be caught by Atwood Albright. Atwood trying to make a move, and he's going to be brought down at about the 31-yard line.
Boy, Rum got hit hard by Van An as he let go of that football, but a great job getting the pass. Boy, there had to be somebody open. There were 3 guys bearing down on Cade Rum, and Albright's going to pick up 8 on his second catch. But, boy, Cade a little slow to get up after that one.
Ball going to be sitting at Leyton's 31-yard line. 8:14 to go in the third, just starting here in the third quarter. First possession for either team. Looks like going to have a chance for run pass option here. Going to go with the option out to Littow. Watch Horn gets stiff arm to the ground. Littow runs, and he's going to be cut down at the ankles, out of bounds by number 12, Jeremiah Hayek, and that's going to be a first down inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, nifty little play there for Stewart. They snap it to Schmaderer, who hands it to Rum, and then they run the option with Littow. And Owen from the 31-yard line takes that down to the 18. That's his longest rush of 13 yards. It comes on the option, but the Broncos pick up a second first down, and they're closing toward that red zone at the 18-yard line of the Warriors.
Same formation for the Broncos heading into the sun here. Rum looking for a block back to pass. Going to get it into the hands of Drew Schmaderer. He's at the 10, the 5, and he's in for a touchdown from 17 yards out. Broncos have retaken the lead on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard. 13-12 with 7:51 to go in this third quarter. Greg, you asked me what my keys were. I said get the ball to the outside and find a way to get Drew Schmaderer the ball. And guess what? Stewart did that twice and got a touchdown.
Yeah, and Drew Schmaderer was just able to outrun his defender. I think that was Hayek trying to cover him. 200-pound kid, or 185-pound kid, trying to stay with Drew Schmatter, and that's a mismatch that if Stewart can find it, right now Leyton has not found anybody quick enough. Watchorn's having to kind of cover one of the Bronco speedsters, but that leaves another one. This time Schmatter open.
Snap back, and this kick is up, and it is good. Laying the leg. Bolter gets the 2-point try, and the Stewart Broncos go up by 3 on the opening possession of the third quarter. They lead at 15-12 with 7:51 to go here in the third on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard.
The Valley Irrigation name is durability and reliability. Strength and value backed by your industry-leading warranty. You can trust that Valley Junior Parts are built to last. From gaskets to gearboxes and everything in between, you can rely on the best from Valley. Contact your local Valley dealer, Green Valley Irrigation, and I can say, order meal today from Valley Genuine Parts. Green Valley Irrigation, 925-2858 or 336-2858.
Well, apologize for those of you listening on the video feed. If you're hearing our sponsors and the audio is not very good, that's on our end. It's not on the Stewart Public School end. That's completely on our end. We've got a little bit of a kind of a feed issue just when our ads are playing. So appreciate all those Stewart Westholt sportscasters. They're coming in loud and clear on KBRB, but if you're watching on the video feed, hearing those a little bit jarbled. So Stewart takes the lead. Bolter kicks it away.
And this one is going to be recovered, and this is going to be Rhodey. He's going to just kneel it down at about the 26-yard line or so. And here's the first possession of the second half for the Leyton Warriors. And we'll see what the Stewart defense changed up, Greg, here. Again, usually don't have a nose guard like we've seen out of Leyton. They just rush the two ends, and that's because usually you're spread out. Leyton has you spread out so far.
Well, this is our fourth lead change now, Cody. 15-12 Stewart. What a game. 7:50 to go in the third. Number 4 versus number 5 in the playoff seedings. The 6-man Stewart, the defending state champions.
Van Ann going to kick it back into the hands of Watchorn. Going to look to pass. Nobody's open now. Kick it out the right side. Hayek has it. He's going to get to the 35, 36-yard line. And it'll be Littau making the tackle after about maybe a 9-10 yard gain here.
Yeah, it is just tough to guard this Leyton team. So Watchorn basically scrambled around back there and just waited until the defender committed. And as soon as he did to try to stop Watchorn, there was a receiver open. And that was who again on the catch, Code? I'm trying to just write stats down crazily.
It's number 12, Hayek.
Yes, it was for 9 yards, and it was Littau that had to make the tackle.
Here's Watchorn. He's going to keep it this time. He's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and then steps out of bounds. And he's going to have right enough for a first down. Looks like a 6-yard pickup.
Very close. They may have to bring the chains
short
on this one. It'll be a gain of 5 or 6. They might have to measure this one. Let's
From
check
here,
it out.
he's short.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yep.
They'll so call it a 5-yard gain for Watchorn, but boy, he's a shifty back. And Cody, he's patient. He is not in any hurry until the defender commits, and then he makes his move.
And then he finds another gear. Third down and a football here for Leyton inside Stewart territory at the 38-yard line. 7:03 to go in the third. Pitch this one out. Watchorn has a running back by committee blocking. He gets to the outside before he's brought out of bounds by, looks like Atwood Albright, about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, that looked like an SEM play there. That was just student body left on a toss. And that was a gain of, it looks like about 6 yards for Watchorn. And boy, they just had 3 lead blockers out there. Littau kind of got trapped in the wash there as all the bodies were around him trying to flow to that football. Leyton trying to answer now. They have a first down on their first drive of the quarter. Under 7 to go in the third and a 3-point game.
Back of the backfield, looks like Watchorn. They're actually going to pitch this one to Van Ann. Now he's going to go back to pass. Here comes a little pressure by Paxton. Van Ann is going to be tripped up. Now he'll shove it forward.
Was he down first? Boy, what a play by Van Ann as he gets up and a little pat with Tom Paxton. That was fun one-on-one football, and Tommy won it. Got Van Ann around the thighs, but as he was going down, he flipped it forward in the direction of Miller. And I wasn't sure if his knees were down before he flipped that one forward, but they will call it an incompletion. That was Van Ann's 4th pass. Watchorn's thrown 3 passes. Butler has thrown about a dozen, and even Borgman's thrown a pass, Code.
Yeah, I tell you what. And again, with the pressure coming, hey, there's a man out there. Go ahead and throw it, even if it's short. Get it back instead of taking that 8-9-yard loss. All right, back there is Butler at quarterback, shotgun formation. Van Ann off the left side in the back. Watch one. Give it to Van Ann. He's looking. Nobody there. They're going to go ahead and try running it with him, and this is going to be a great play by Cade Rum. He'll make the tackle. It is going to be a pickup of about 4 yards, but I tell you what, Cade Rum shedded Watchhorn and then made the tackle.
Yeah, that was impressive. Cade Rum was basically guarding Watchhorn. Van Ann was trying to wait for Watchhorn to break free. He never did, and as soon as he committed to running it, Rum was there to bring him down after a 2-yard gain, and Van Ann's a little bit banged up as well as he's limping up toward the line of scrimmage.
4-down territory, 3rd down and 12 for Leyton. Ball on the Stewart 28-yard line, 6:05 to go in the third. Stewart up 15-12. Pitch this back. Wahorn pitches it back to Butler. Butler looking deep in the end zone, and it is one-handed interception.
My goodness.
Send that one to the top 10 of ESPN. How in the world did he pick it off in the end zone? Drew Schmaderer with a highlight reel interception.
Highlight reel is an understatement, Code. That was one of the best high school football plays I've seen from a kid. Coach Colin Sherman just got dumped by Schmaderer trying to go up and give him a bump. That was one of the most amazing plays I've seen defensively. He high-pointed that ball, one hand, on his way to the ground, reeled it in, never put his second hand on the football, and he gets the just acrobatic interception. That is a Sports Center-worthy play right there from Drew Schmaderer, folks. If you're watching that on video, that is one of the most amazing individual plays I've seen in a lot of years of calling high school football.
Stewart gets the ball after the third turnover here by Leyton. Option play. Rum going to keep it. He'll break through one tackle, and he'll be brought down after about a 2-yard gain. Good defense again here by the Stewart Broncos.
Yeah, not much there. Boy, Leyton's defense, especially the run defense, has been excellent. They hold Rum to a 2-yard gain, but this place is just electric now, Cody, after that one-handed interception from Schmaderer. Can the Broncos take advantage? Leading 15-12 midway through the third quarter of this playoff quarterfinal game.
Playing a 3-1-2 defense. This one going to be handed off to Schmaderer, and he's going to be stopped about the 20-yard line.
Boy, Van Ann again, Code, in on the tackle. He has been everywhere. You want to talk about your defensive performer of the game. We may just close that voting down right now. Colt Van Ann has been fantastic for the Warriors from that right defensive end spot, and he corrals Schmaderer after a gain of 3, so it's 3rd and 10.
Still like to see Stewart, maybe Greg, get it to the outside a little bit. Then that opened up some other play calling here. And just you have that big man and Caleb Miller playing nose guard. You know, you don't see very many nose guards in 6-man football, and he's just blowing things up here. And he'll go off the left of center here. Does Miller. 3rd down for Stewart. Passing play. Rum has time. Looking. Has time. Can run it. And he's going to break one tackle, leans forward, and gets the first down. What a great effort by Cade Rum, who gets up a little ginger.
Yeah, Hayek had a chance at him about 3 yards short, dove at Cade's legs, and Cade was just able to use a stiff arm. And then that old running back drill play where you just plant your arm, your hand on the ground to steady yourself. He gathered and dove forward to get the first down. He needed 10. He picked up 11. And Stewart will pick up a fresh set of downs at the 31.
Boy, I tell you what, first downs have been kind of hard to come by in this game.
7 apiece, Code, now, but 4 of Stewart's have come in this third quarter. 15-12 Broncos.
4:08 to go in the third. Broncos trying to extend their lead here. Snap back, Rum, pitch it off. Atwood Albright cuts it up the middle, and he's going to get a couple of yards. Right there is Miller and number 20, Isaac Rohde, making the tackle, and he gets up with a cramp.
Yeah, that's a gain of about 2 for Albright is all to, well, call it 3 to the 34 for Atwood. But just, boy, Code, it is tough to come by yards-wise for Stewart, especially inside. They're used to just kind of steamrolling people and let Noah and Littow get going downhill, but there just hasn't been much there for the Bronco run game. But they do lead at 15-12. This is a slugfest right now between these two quarterfinal teams. Leyton's got some players banged up.
10-second count is on. Stewart's going to have to hustle. There's a 5-second. Boy, that's a quick 5-second. They get the snap off. Here's Rum getting some pressure. He can run the ball. He's going to get towards midfield. He's at the first down marker. He's inside. Oh, and there's a late hit again. That's Caleb Miller
again,
out
Cody.
of bounds.
You can give him give him a horse collar. You could give him a personal foul late hit. He's already had one unsportsmanlike penalty, and then he just two-hand shoved a teammate. And Coach, tell you what, Coach Gamble's going to bring him out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great play by Cade Rum. That's going to go from the 34-yard line down to about the 26.
Yeah,
27. So give Cade 20. What do we got? 27, 13. He's got 20 yards on the run, and then we're going to tack on 15.
Wow, that's a big, big play. Something you don't want in a big game like this, in a close game. Stewart only up 15-12, 3:09 to go in the third. But that is a big first down run by Cade Rum, and then the tack on the 15. And how about inside the 15 at the red zone here for the Stewart Broncos? They'll change it up a little bit. Does Leyton on the defensive side of things and bring in number 24, Calvin Borgman here. See if Stewart can capitalize on the big penalty. Here's one out to Schmaderer. Drew tries to make a move. Watchman is there. Watchhorn, that is. Excuse me. Watchhorn is there first. Schmaderer doesn't get much.
Yeah, Hayek cleaned it up, but it was Watchhorn that stopped him. And Miller will come back into the game now. That was a gain of, down to the 16, gain of just 2 for Drew. Wow. This one's getting chippy, Code, 2:45. And Stewart, we talked to Coach Colin Sherman off air. He said, we were prepared for this. We're not going to retaliate, and we're going to just let the officials officiate. We're not going to be the ones that get caught as the second guy responding.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, season's on the line for both teams here. It is second down and goal from the 11 for the Stewart Broncos. 2:25 to go here in the third. Rum back to pass, getting a little bit of pressure. He gets past one guy. Looks, he'll pass in the middle of the field. Nearly picked off. He had Schmaderer open. He went for the guy at the end zone. That was Kalp, and he was just waiting for it. Of course, you're the center, not really coming towards it. Had a chance to get that one. I think Kalp thinks he might have been interfered with.
Code, this is hold your breath on every play. You should hear the stands in front of you. Just the anticipation. They see these plays coming, and then they saw that one over the middle, and then just a collective, as they all held their breath as it looked like it might get picked off.
I believe if Cade has that one back, he throws it to Drew out to the right side, but he did have Cameron Kalp wide open at about the 1 yard line. Brings up a third down and goal. Can Leyton keep the Broncos out of the end zone with 2:15 to go here in the third? Here is Rum looking. He'll get this one out to Schmaderer. He's at the 5, cuts it in. He's in for a touchdown. Touchdown Broncos. Cade Rum to Drew Schmaderer. And with 2:08 to go in the third quarter, the Broncos have their biggest lead of the game. It's a 9-point lead at 21-12, and an important 2-point kick coming up here for the Stewart Broncos.
Code, a pair of seniors with a ton of playoff experience. Schmaderer on one end with the one-handed amazing interception, and then the flip pass from senior Cade Rum, a 4-year starter, the 6-man player of the year a year ago. Back at full strength, gets it to Schmaderer, their second touchdown connection of the quarter.
All right, snap back, a little low. Kick is on its way, and it is good. Lane the leg bolter, we call him. He has made 2 for 2, and the Broncos lead it by 11, 23-12, 2:08 to go in the third on our Tri-County Bank. We're in Stewart, Nebraska. Stewart leads Leyton 23-12. Quarterfinal football on KBRB. Back here, Stewart, Nebraska. After the interception that made a highlight reel and should make an ESPN top 10 by Drew Schmaderer moments ago, and then a long sustained drive helped out by a 15-yard penalty. The Stewart Broncos will get an 11-yard touchdown pass from Cade Rum in the hands of Drew Schmaderer, and they now lead it by 11 in a hard-fought game. And, Greg, we still have 2:08 to go in the third quarter. They lead it 23-12.
a 16-0 third quarter now for Stewart after getting the interception from Schmaderer, scoring to start the quarter, and then getting that 65-yard march. The Broncos up by 2 scores. First time either team's led by 2 possessions.
Here's going to be Van An trying to pick it up after one of his teammates grabbed it. They're trying to cut around the corner. Van An is going to be wrapped up there. Great job. Hayden Dvorak and company right there. Lane Bolter as well as Briar Almgren.
Yeah, Almgren in there. Hayden Dvorak, we always talk about him on special teams plays and with that second unit. And a good job by the coverage team for Stewart. Just nowhere for Van An to go. 17-yard line. And now it's respond time needed for the Leyton Warriors as this game has turned. Leyton led this one 12-7 at halftime, was playing fantastic football, but things coming apart just a little bit now for the Warriors. They need a drive here and an answer with under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and down by 11.
Only their second possession of the third quarter here. Under center will go Butler. Kicks it out. He'll get it right back. He looks to roll out. He'll dump a short pass to Van An, and it's going to be caught. It almost like he thought the whistle blew. Kind of stopped there, and he gets it at the 21-yard line.
Great coverage by Owen Littau there as Van An made a pretty nice catch. Littau was all over him. It's going to be a short gain. Butler.
We say short gain because 6-man football.
Yeah, short gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, 5-yard gain.
Yeah, that is the 6th catch already for Van An. Boy, he's had a nice ball game. Colt Van An, just a sophomore.
All right, in the backfield now is Hayek back there, as well as Van An now split out to the right side. Van An actually does get this. This can be Watchorn looking to run, looking to dump. Now he'll look to run again. He gets past the linebackers. He's going to get towards midfield. Look out. Here he goes. He gets past the defense, and he's going to be tripped up there by Schmaderer down at about the 12-yard line. What a run by Alec Watchorn. The very dangerous Leyton Warrior has himself over 1,000 yards, closing in on 1,100 yards this season.
19 and 28 by my count code. That's 47 yards for Watchorn, and that's the first time the Broncos have really let him escape containment. And once he got into the open field, wow, did he turn on the Jets. A touchdown-saving ankle trip up by Drew Schmaderer, but first and goal at the 12-yard line for the Warriors.
Yeah, I think you just let him throw the ball instead of let him run. They'll look to go out to pass. Van Am has it, looking. He's going to be brought back down. Oh, nice play. And that's going to be Watchorn with the reception down around the 5-yard line. But how about Van Am slipping out from the grasp of Cade Rum and then making that pass? Van Am, 175-pound sophomore. He can swing it.
Yeah, Van An will get the completion, and now you've got a penalty.
Yeah,
it looks like over on the tackle maybe. So Van An on the completion down to the 4-yard line. It'll go for a gain of 8. Was that Watchorn on the catch?
Yep, personal foul.
And it's on Stewart. It was something over on the far end on the tackle.
It didn't say what it was.
Yeah, if it was either a face mask or a horse collar, or something over on the far end. And it'll be second, and it'll stay first down, so we'll tack on only 2 yards on the penalty, but Leyton will keep the down. They
didn't indicate it was just personal foul.
Yeah.
They didn't indicate horse collar, face mask, nothing. Didn't get that from the white hat. But what it is a first down and goal here for Leyton. 30 seconds to go here, and that's going to be a handoff right up into the hands of Van An, and he's in for the touchdown, and what a quick answer by the Leyton Warriors.
Yeah, 34 seconds left in the third. That was a much-needed score for Leyton, going down by 2 possessions, but the 47-yard electric run from Alec Watchorn sets up the touchdown as Van An goes in from 2 yards out. A 5-point game, and now Leyton will try the 2-point kick.
So Caleb Miller, we've called his name a lot. He'll get a chance to kick the 2-point try here. This one is on its way, and it's short underneath. And maybe Nigel Adderson might have got just undercut there. He's going to get brought up here. But I tell you what, really physical and some low body attacks here. And it's Leyton coming back and scoring right after the Broncos with 34.5 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Tri-County Bank scoreboard. Stewart 23, Leyton 18.
Along with the jacuzzi, honeymoon suite, 288 suites, and a queen suite with sofa
Well, Code, now you have to watch for the onside kick here as Leyton's already recovered one of those and down by 5. That's a huge answer. That's a 63-yard drive to answer the Stewart 2 touchdowns in this quarter. But a great run from Alec Watchhorn, and Leyton right back in this one here in the D6 quarterfinals. Broncos lead 23-18. Their title defense here on the line over the next 10 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, and as you hear the fans up front say, watch for an onside kick here, and this one is going to be booted towards the end zone, and it will go into the end zone.
Good kick from Miller.
Yeah, the way he puts it down like it's sitting there on a a watermelon on the tee, and he puts the leg through it. You know, if you tried that or I tried that, it probably would go out of bounds about 5 yards right or left.
I needed my old toe kicking days. I needed every bit of height I could get the old foot underneath it to get it airborne.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about kicking. We had a pretty good kicker, too. He might have put that size 14 shoe on with the square toe.
I did. Yeah, well, I think people all the way back into the 60s wore that same kicking shoe back in the day.
All right, 34.5 seconds go on the third. Stewart going to go with the run-pass option here, and they're going to try hand this one off to Rum's going to actually keep it. I think Stewart thought maybe there was going to be a penalty as Owen Littau left early, but no flag, and that's going to be another loss. That's going to be a loss of 5 yards. We'll see if Stewart runs another play here or wait. And, as I look at the flag now, it looks like maybe the wind's a little bit more north-northeast now. Basically just straight north here, Greg.
Well, that was kind of messed up from the beginning. You're right, Littau left early, Cody, but what I think happened is he was going sideways to maybe start that option. So they basically counted it like he was in motion. He didn't go forward.
Forward, right.
But what happened was when Cade Rum took the snap, there was nobody to pitch it to, and it was, again, Colt Van Ann who buries him for a 5-yard loss. So Stewart will be behind the chains when we start the fourth quarter, but a good third quarter for the Broncos. They get 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point kicks, and take the lead. Leyton answers back with a score with 10 minutes to go in the Class D6 state football quarterfinals. It's Stewart 23, Leyton 18.
Bases loaded sub sandwiches and a variety of fruit. Numerous fresh items along with a huge selection of beverages. Southside Mini Mart provides you a 24-hour fuel asset pump. Gas or diesel, they have it. Your local large parking lot or local home vehicles. Make sure to stop in Southside Mini Mart, 1920 in Stewart.
Yeah, welcome you back on KBRB FM 92, KBRB.net. Cody, we talk about it all the time in these evenly matched games, the points after touchdown. Each team with 3 scores. Stewart, 2 two-point kicks and a 1-point conversion. Leyton 0 for 3. There's your difference in a 5-point game.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be Stewart now facing a second down and 20 from their own 10-yard line. And can Leyton's defense do what they did in the first quarter against the Stewart Broncos? Stewart going to come up here in their offset I formation, you call it. Littau off the right side of Rum, and then everybody left for Stewart right out of the quarter. Another penalty for the Broncos. You know what, in the third quarter they look like they're all on the same page. In the last 30 seconds they have looked like they are not.
Well, that's some pressure that Leyton's putting on you with that score to put it back to a one-possession game, and it is going to be down to the wire here at Stewart Park for 2nd and 25. Stewart backed up to its own 5-yard line.
All right. Rum, hard count, high snap, looks past. Littau catches it. He will try to get past one. Boy, Rum got smoked clear out of bounds. No call back there. He got rid of it, and he was knocked 5 yards back and knocked clear through the end zone.
Yeah, Littau will only get about a yard on that completion. Great open field tackle on the little swing pass. And guess who it was yet again, Cody? It was Colt Van Ann on the solo tackle against Littau. So it is 3rd and 24 here for Stewart, clinging to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, 3rd down. They have not yet punted. They turned it over on downs twice. We've only seen 1 punt attempt for Leyton, I believe, and then they've turned it over on down. All right, Rum going to be all by himself in the backfield. And what do we have? A
Timeout going to be
Stewart?
taken, which by who?
Well, the back judge just did a 360 and pointed Stewart's direction.
way, okay.
Yeah.
Initially, you're pointed toward Leyton, but a timeout.
I was watching him
Stewart.
out there.
Boy, those timeouts important here in a close game in the fourth quarter, and Stewart's going to take one before a 3rd and 24. We'll take a timeout. 9:19 to go in the game. Our Tri-County Bank scoreboard in the Class D6 state football playoffs. It's Stewart 23, Leyton 18. Broncos 3rd and long when we come back.
Something magical about visiting the soda fountain nestled in at our Funky Variety Labs and Friends. It's a taste of tradition, a nod to simpler times when life moved at a slower pace. A community hub where friends gather, stories are shared, and memories are made. Whether you're catching up with neighbors over a new beer float, treating your grandchildren to an ice cream sundae, or celebrating a game day victory, come treat yourself to a sweet sip or taste of this podcast. Cheers.
All right, back here, Stewart, Nebraska. 9:19 to go with this ball game. Stewart 23, Leyton 18. Stewart facing a 3rd down and 24 from their own 6-yard line here. Different package in as Littau will be out. Cade Rum will be all by himself in the backfield. They'll have Atwood and Nigel Addison left. Nigel in motion. Look to pass. Going to throw this one to Schmaderer. He catches it, and he lost it. They're going to say incomplete and triple coverage.
Great play
turning
by
around Brody, just letting
Brody.
him know that he made a great play.
Yeah, Brody made a fantastic play. Boy, Cade fit that ball in to Schmader, who was in the seam. There were defenders on either side. Drew caught it initially in traffic or got his hands on it, but Brody knocked it away. That's a great defensive play from Isaac Rohde there on Schmader, who looked like he might be able to reel that in, and now Stewart will be in punt formation.
And the dangerous Alec Watchorn stands at the Stewart 35, shank punt. This one's going to go out at about the 22 or 3-yard line. Whoa, they're going to say actually at the 20-yard line. Missed that one by 3 yards up here in the crow's nest. But it's going to be 1st down at 15 for Leyton to try to regain the lead on the Stewart 20 after the shank punt.
Another momentum swing. Broncos 16 straight points to take an 11-point lead. Leyton gets the big play from Watchorn. They cap the drive now within 5, and an excellent defensive series for the Warriors. 1st and 15 at the Bronco 20, down by 5 in the 4th quarter.
All right, back there is Van An and Hayek. Van An's low snap, kicks it out. Watchorn, he's going to look. I'd make him pass. A good job by Cade Rum. Cade going to trip him up. He's going to throw it incomplete.
No, they call him down, Code. I think the White Hat's calling him down.
Called him down. Whoa. They did. That's going to be a sack for Cade Rum back at about the 25-yard line, 24-yard line.
Be a loss of 4 for Watchorn. Did you see the footwork by both the offensive and defensive players there, Cody? Watchorn and Rum, it was a stutter step fest between both of them. Watchorn finally committed. Cade closed the gap, got him around the legs, and did get the knee to the ground before Watchorn tried to flip a pass just in the area of a receiver.
So the clock is running down on the run. 8:20 to go in the final period. Butler will look back to pass, looking for a receiver, and it's incomplete. And right there is Cade Rum burying Butler.
Boy,
and now you're seeing Leyton get after each other.
Boy, the 6-man player of the year is turning it up here in the 4th quarter. He gets the 4-yard sack on Watchorn and then buried Butler right in the midsection as he tried to throw that football. So 3rd and 19 now. 2 great plays by Cade Rum on the defensive end.
And look at Coach Cody Gamble as coming over to get the play was Van An. He's telling his guy, calm down just a little bit. We got a lot of football game here. Can't get after each other. Van An will be back with Hayek, and clear back in the back is Watchorn. Snap coming back. They're going to go. Watchorn looking. Going to look to pass. Good defense. Going to throw this one up in the air. Wide open and touchdown into the hands of Hunter Borges. And that'll go for 24 yards. And the Leyton Warriors will regain the lead by 1. 24-23. Somebody missed a huge assignment for the Bronco defense.
And, Cody, that is the first catch for Borges. And, yes, wide open along the sideline. He got lost somewhere, and Leyton has retaken the lead over the defending champion Broncos with 8:06 to play, and will try to get their first extra points in this one.
0 for 2 so far, or 0 for 3, I should say. And a try here from Miller. Snap back, going to go with the pass, and open in the back of the end zone was Butler for the 1-point try, and it is a 2-point game. 8:06 to go on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard here in Stewart, Nebraska. Quarterfinal football, 6-man action. Leyton on the road leads Stewart 25-23.
Shamrock Diesel Repair in Stewart works on trucks, tractors, trailers, pickups, and cars, including oil changes, DOT inspections, and welding. They also make hydraulic and air hoses. For more details or make an appointment, call Shamrock Diesel Repair in Stewart at 402-924-3330. Shamrock Diesel Repair in Stewart, proud supporters of the Stewart Broncos and Westfield Husky Sports.
All right, what a answer defensively, and then a short punt, and Leyton gets the touchdown and lead at 25-23, 8:06 to go. Greg, it's again, Leyton Warriors just playing that great 6-man, everybody's eligible football.
Ball now sitting on the tee in normal fashion for a kickoff.
And this one is going to go to Addison. He'll get it at the 5-yard line. He's at the 10, goes to the 15, makes a shifty move, gets to about the 20 before he's going to be wrapped up, and gets down at about the 21-yard line.
Yeah, they were trying to hold him up so somebody else could strip it. And good return on a line drive kick for Nigel, and the football at about, the 21-yard line. Stewart now down by 2, season on the line. Title defense on the line, 7:56 to go. Broncos plenty of time and with 2 timeouts, but Leyton has answered the 16 straight points from Stewart with 13 of their own to retake the lead.
You know, the Broncos went to the outside a little bit back in that third quarter. Have not seen much of that, as Rum will be the only one in the backfield here as he'll send in motion Nigel Addison. He'll go with the reverse pass, reverse to Drew Schmaderer. Drew's going to be tackled down at about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Butler on the stop. They run the reverse with Addison and Schmaderer, and Drew's going to pick up yardage out to the 32, so that'll be a gain of 11 for Drew. On the reverse, be 2nd and 4 for Stewart. Clock running, 7.5 to go. Stewart down by 2.
All right, looks like same formation coming up here. 2 split right, 2 split left. Calp the center. It looks like in motion again, Addison. Rum wants the ball. Can't run, he'll pass. Hits Schmaderer for a first down. He's at midfield, makes the guy miss, and then he's going to be hit from behind about the 38-yard line of Leyton. Stewart has a first down, and Greg, we're seeing right now, whoever has the ball last may win this one.
Code, did you see Van Ann there? He was rushing the quarterback. They threw a little out route to Drew. Drew made a guy miss, tried to cut back into the field, and it was Colt Van Ann who comes back to get him from behind at the 38-yard line and probably save another 5 to 10 yards.
Just a sophomore on the roster here. He is a machine out there for Leyton. First down for Stewart, same formation. In motion this time from right to left will be Schmaderer. Cade back to pass, looking. Going to go deep on this one. He's going for Tommy. Pass and picked off. Picked off at the 5 by Isaac Rode. First down, Leyton Warriors.
That was fantastic defense. There were 2 Bronco receivers in the area, but they both had players step for step. And now on a celebration, Hayek just went down on the celebration. He's in a heap there, but the interception by Rode, a fantastic play as he caught that one over the shoulder. And now one of the important players, Jeremiah Hayek for Leyton, just went down on a celebration. But the interception with 6:36 to go, and it is danger time here for the Broncos, Cody. They will need a stop as the ball at the Leyton 5. It's going to be up to the Bronco defense to try to get a stop here and get the football back.
Hunter Borges comes back in here. Going to kick this one out. Watchorn looking to pass. Now looking to run. Cade Rum had him, sacked him, but no. He's going to kick it off into the hands of Calvin Borgman. He's going to get up to about the 8-yard line. Boy, after they marked that one. No, now they're backing it up.
Well, that's
6.
just a gain of 1, but that was dangerous. Watchorn was just about brought down by Rum in the end zone for a safety, but he was just able to get rid of it as he's being driven backwards by Rum. A gain of 1, 6 minutes to go, 2nd and 14. Huge series here for the Bronco defense.
6 minutes to go in both of these teams' season 6-man quarterfinals from Stuart, Nebraska on a beautiful day for football. Van and one of those back there, they're going to pitch it. Watchhorn looking to pass. Great defense here by Stuart Broncos. Here comes Watchhorn with the run. Littau trying to make the tackle, and he will. And the ball is going to be brought down to about the 15. Going to bring up a 3rd down and just a short 5, maybe 4.
Boy, it is so tough to do much with Watchhorn. The Broncos are sending 2 against 3. The 2 defensive ends are being blocked, and Watchhorn's there. Littau is serving as a spy code, but Watchhorn's so quick. It's going to be 3rd and about 5.5 here for Leyton after the run by Watchhorn.
All right, back there again is Van An, and I believe Borges, and here is Watchhorn looking. He'll dump this one off Van An. Here comes Littau chasing, and he'll make a great tackle. That's only going to go for 1 yard. 4th down and 3 here now for the Leyton Warriors. Coach has a decision to make here. Coach Gamble does.
That could be a season-saving tackle for Owen Littau there in the open field on Van An. 4:45 to go, 4th and 4. I would be amazed, Code, if they tried to go for this deep in their own territory with a 2-point lead. I know it's 4th and 4 in the 6-man game. Miller's done a pretty good job punting the football today.
Will they draw him off?
They may go the hard count. Stewart's not going to put anybody back. They do have Miller standing at about the 4 for a potential punt.
And we got a flag, delay of game.
So that's certainly going to take away any decision on whether to go for it or not. So Leyton, 5-yard penalty. Stewart's going to likely get the football back with 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Down by 2 here at home in the state football quarterfinals. Stewart still will not send anybody deep. They're going to play this very safe on 4th and 9.
And it will be punting this one, Miller. Miller will get it at his own end zone, punts this one away. Nice punt, going to hit right about midfield and go into Stewart territory, clear down to about the 30 inside to about the 28-yard line. And now Stewart has a chance with 4:08 to go in this one to retake the lead here. And tell you what, we've been treated to a whale of a ball game. 2 teams that have come in. Stewart has only averaged given up 12 points per game, have given up 25. Leyton's given up 24 a game, has given up 23. Boy, what a dandy of a game we have here as Leyton trying to shock the Stewart Broncos here at home.
Well, plenty of time for Stewart now. You'd love, ideally, to have a long drive here where you take up most of the clock.
Here is Rum with the run pass option. He's going to go ahead and take off running. Looking for a block. Good block there by Atwood Albright, and it was good that it wasn't a blindside block. He waited for the guy to turn around and square up after about a 13-yard gain and into Leyton territory for Cade Rum.
Yeah, Cade, you've got to give, at this point, Code, you've got to give him the run pass option. You've got to let him be a two-way player. Leyton has been very good on plays where Cade only has the pass available to him. When he's got the run pass option, it's just been a different story. He gets 13 there, clock stop with 4:01.
Yeah, knocked out of bounds. Stewart with the ball. Cade has a run pass option again. Looking, has Schmaderer. He's open and he catches it. And he makes it complete. Great defensive play by Watchhorn. Nearly knocked it out, but that is going to go for, it looks like, about 22 yards.
19, Code, yep.
Going to go from
another catch for
go
Schmaderer.
from the 38 to the 19. First down, Broncos.
That is 6 catches for Drew Schmaderer, 2 for touchdowns. 3:45 to go, still an eternity in a 2-point ball game. Stewart will take its time. A full complement of timeouts for Leyton, I believe.
They have two for Stewart. Yep. All right, it is first down and 15 for Stewart on their own 19. Rum getting a little bit of pressure. He's getting chased. He can't get rid of it. Now he'll flip it out to Kelpie, catches it. No. He does it. It touches the tip of the football.
Close.
Touched the ground at the 20, they say. It'll be incomplete, but saving about a 10-yard sack was Cade Rum. The heat came once again.
Yeah, that was a good, where they have had success, Leyton, is when they pressure Rum right up the middle. When they're trying to come from the outsides, Cade's stepping and evading it. But when they come up the middle, he's been backtracking. Cameron Kaup nearly picked that football up right before it hit the turf, but it just caught the ground before he was able to snag it.
Here's a pitch out to Littell. He'll cut it up the middle. He's got a block. He's at the 5. He's cut down at the 1. First down, Broncos, first and goal.
Littell for 19 yards to the 1-yard line. That was a nice designed little play, just a little sideways pitch, kind of a lateral sideways, and Littell running like a player possessed after he got the football in his hands. Clock runs. We'll go under 3 minutes on this play. First and goal, Stewart at the 1, down by 2.
I say just give it to Littell right up the middle. Hold on to it. We'll see if that's what they do here. Got to get some blocking here. First and goal from the 1. Littell off the right side of Rum. Stewart tried to regain the lead down to 25-23. Snap back. Rum. He has some pressure. There's a face mask.
There they come.
Yeah, right in front of the white hat. He did not throw his flag, but the back officials finally did throw the flag.
Boy, Rhodey got in there immediately, but he just got a hold of the face mask as he was trying to bring Rum down at about the 10-yard line.
Nearly
Nothing
got the sack.
blatant there. I don't know if, regardless of whether it's a 5-yard or personal foul variety,
personal foul.
It's still going to be about a half a yard penalty. So nothing intentional there from Rhodey. That was just trying to bring an all-state caliber player to the ground. It's going to cost Leyton about a half a yard, and a ball just outside the goal line here. 2:41 to go in the game.
The coaching staff, of course, we're on the right side. Coaching staff for Leyton, they're not happy with the call, but if they watch it on film, they'll see it. Definitely yanked his head down with the face mask. It is, again, first and goal from the 1 for Stewart. Tied on the line. This is going to be Littell kicking it out to Schmaderer, and he lost the ball. It's recovered by Tommy Paxton in the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness. Tommy
Holy
Paxton on a fumble recovery.
The coaching staff for Leyton are trying to say that he threw the ball into the end zone, but he fumbled it, I do believe. Yes, he did, into the end zone. And Tommy on the spot, Paxton, recovers it for the 6 points.
Stewart fans breathing a collective, not just sigh of relief, but getting that lump out of their throat currently as Tommy Paxton, the 1-yard dive on the football in the end zone on a loose ball.
The very important 2-point conversion coming up, and who did they jump on defense or was it offense?
I think Miller was into the neutral zone that caused Brooke Wallinger to move. So this should make this 2-point kick a little closer.
4-point game, 29-25. It is encroachment. Boy, Greg, this is where you talk about extra points. Leyton has one, I believe, 1-point try that has went in, have not made a kick. We'll tell you a little bit later about Lane. He's going to go back to kick this one here with 2:35 to go to push his team up by 6. Snap back, it's high, placement down, kick up, and it's right through the middle of the uprights, and Stewart has a 6-point lead with 2:35 to go in our final period. Stewart 31, Leyton 25 on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard. We're quarterfinal football on KBRB Ainsworth.
Decades of use during the holidays, game days, any day. Be as creative as you want to be. Change it up as often as you please with convenient palm of your hand control. One install, you get it all. Call 402-340-6207 for your free no obligation estimate.
Both teams, Cody Gucci with 4 touchdowns. Stewart, 3 2-point kicks and a 1-point pass. Leyton, just a single 1-point pass. That is your 6-point difference in a game that has each team scoring 4 times, but an eternity still to go. 2:35, Leyton, all of its timeouts, and the wind is really not a factor. It's kind of calmed down a bit.
Do you try to kick this one through the end zone? We know Lane can. They've just been trying not to let anybody return it, as Van Ann going to stand about his 11-yard line. He's going to get one of our performers of the game. He's been a man in this game. Bolter does kick this one. It's going to come towards the sideline. Going to be picked up at about the 8 by Van Ann. Stewart, Hayden Dvorak trying to make a tackle, and the ball is out. Did Stewart get it? I believe Van Ann was trying to pitch it. Did Stewart recover it?
Yes, they did.
They got it. At the 1 yard, Van Ann was trying to pitch it, I believe, to his teammate, and he lost it just shy of the goal line. And I believe that's Hayden Dvorak making the hit that helped jar the ball loose.
And was it Austin Fuelberth that recovered it, Code?
Yeah, number 48.
Yeah, I believe it was Fuelberth recovered, but it was. Van Ann was trying to pitch it to somebody, which we heard in the pregame that they like to do. The coach, Coach Gamble, gives them that freedom. But this at the 1 yard line, a huge play with 2:28 to go. And wow, now it's Stewart can take a 2-possession lead.
I'm telling you, if I'm in a combine listening or watching this one, I just went outside the rows, about 4 rows. We're going to have to come back and get that later. Broncos trying to extend this to a 12-point lead with 2:28 to go in this one. They're going to put – oh, no, they said they didn't recover it. The ball's going to be picked up at the 1. They're going to give it to the Leyton Warriors. This ball is going to be passed up into the hands of Alec Watchorn. I thought they gave
I thought it was Stewart ball.
They pointed towards Stewart. They did not. Sorry, folks.
Cole, we may have a holding in the end zone, and if that's the case, it's a safety. Let's check it out. There's a flag in the end zone. Another great pass breakup by Schmaderer, but let's see the flag.
False start. They can't even move the ball.
What is it? Was it illegal motion?
Illegal motion.
Okay, motion will be declined. I thought Stewart had the football.
They pointed that. I guess the white hat didn't. My bad. The official that was right there pointed that they did, but they said he was down. Sorry about that. Everybody thought he.
Oh my!
So there.
We were already writing down the time and the recovery.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
All right, here's the second down at 15. Watchorn getting chased. Going to throw this one up in the middle. Caught.
What a catch.
At about the 11-yard line by Caleb Miller. We mentioned his name a lot here.
What a catch by Miller. He went way up in the air with that 6-foot, 3 or 4 inch frame.
So there you go, Leyton Warriors. Sorry about that. They ruled him. One official ruled him down. One had pointed as it was Stewart ball. Stewart was celebrating like crazy, Greg, and we were celebrating like crazy up here for the Bronco fans. And all of a sudden, here's Stewart on defense.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and 5 at the 11. Leyton uses one of its timeouts. Boy, have to completely reset here, Code. We were talking about Stewart going in for a 2-score lead from the 1 yard inside the 1 yard line. But now the officials have all huddled up and are talking about this. I thought for sure the first official.
The far official by where the ball was fumbled, he pointed Stewart's way, whether he pointed the wrong way or not. But again, I apologize because I did not get that official white hat telling me that. And then next thing I know, Stewart's out there on defense.
So when we reset off the timeout, 2:02 to go, 31-25 Stewart, fighting for its chances to move on and try to defend its 6-man title, getting just a huge challenge here from this Leyton Warrior team. Warriors now with 2 timeouts left, 3rd and 5 at the 11.
Wow, what a change of events there. Do apologize. Guy in the combine's now looking at me, and he's thinking, oh, man. All right, here we go. 3rd down and 5 here. Expect this one to get to Watchorn. It does. Watchorn looking. Here comes a little bit of chase by Tommy Paxton. Watchorn gets past him, and he's going to get the first down.
Ball's out of bounds.
Oh, and it just went out of bounds. Cade Rum stripped it out of Watchorn's hand at about the 24-yard line. It will be retained by the Leyton Warriors.
14 yards for Watchorn as Tommy Paxton just lost contain there, trying to keep Watchorn at bay. And as soon as Tommy made that as soon as Tommy made that step inside, Watchorn was passing. Cade Rum chases it down and punches the football out, but it rolls out of bounds. New set it down at the 24.
Wow. All right, Leyton a chance here to come back and at least tie this, maybe take the lead with 1:53 to go. First down. This one going to go out to Butler. They're going to throw this one in the air, and it nearly caught. Oh, my. That would have been a catch for the Sports Center again. Alec Watchorn, great defense by Nigel Addison. He tipped the ball. Watchorn had 4 opportunities on his back to catch that one.
Nigel did a great job tipping that ball. Watchorn almost reeled it in. You're right, Code. Going to his back, had the ball still bobbling around, and it falls, and now it's 2nd and 15 at the 24 with 1:45 to go. What a great play defensively from Nigel, but a nearly just unbelievable attempt from Watchorn if he could have reeled that one in.
Watchorn going to go to the left side as well as Borges. We're going to probably pitch this one back to Butler here. They do. Here comes a little bit of pressure by Cade Rum. Going to throw this one, and breaking a tackle is going to be Hayek, and then he's going to be buried by Owen Littell after about a 3-yard pickup, and a timeout going to be called here by Leyton Warriors. 1:35 to go in the game. Leyton trails Stewart 31-25 on the road.
Cody, one of the adjustments Stewart's made when it's Watchorn that takes the pitch and is the quarterback, they are really trying to just contain him. When it's Butler, who's not quite as athletic as Watchorn, the Broncos are pinning their ears and trying to get at him as quick as they can. And a good tackle there for Stewart to hold Hayek to just a 3-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd and 12. Leyton down to 1 timeout, 1:35 to go. Football at the 28-yard line of the Warriors, down by 6 to the defending champion Stewart Broncos in a game that folks will remember for quite some time here.
Definitely.
We have seen some just tremendous individual plays for both of these teams, some huge swings, and now Leyton 2 chances from its own 28 to keep this drive moving forward. This one started at their half-yard line after what we thought was a fumbled kick return to the Broncos. The ball given to the Warriors, and they will have to go 79.5 yards to try to tie this ball game. 95 seconds remaining with the football at the 28.
And Butler will be the quarterback again. Looks like Watchorn going to be split here to the right side. Going to go here. Here comes a little pressure. Going to throw it to the middle of the field. It broken up by
Schmatter
again. What a great play. Nigel Addison was right there also, but that is great defensive play. But Leyton is trying to get it to their playmaker, and now season on the line. 4th down and 12 from their own 28.
Cody, what a one-on-one matchup this has been between the 2 number 5s, Watchorn and Schmaderer. How many just unbelievably great plays has Drew Schmaderer made in the defensive backfield.
Oh, he played well. Nigel Addison just a moment ago with the breakup here. Watchorn split to the right once again. 4th down and 12. Season on the line for Leyton. They get a 1st down. We'll continue on. Looked like the receiver left early. Watchorn, they just wanted to throw him on a fly route, and they were just going to throw it up for him to catch. Nobody was going to be on the backside help there with Watchorn.
So now 4th and 17.
I think it was just a fly route, and we're going to throw it up in the air and see if we get a penalty called or if we can get a pass completion here.
Boy, so impressed with both these teams. Leyton has come on the road and given the defending champions just a whale of a test. And this Watchorn-Schmaderer matchup, 5 versus 5, has been so much fun to watch. 4th and 17, 1:28 to go.
All right, back there again is Van Anna. Hayek looks like. They're going to snap it back, going to go with the pass. Middle of the field, picked off Nigel Addison, and he slides down. And ladies and gentlemen, that is official. It is intercepted by Nigel Addison. They went with the trick play. Nigel Addison jumped the route, and now the Stewart Broncos just have to hold on to the football here. They have it 1st and 15.
Code, they were trying for the hook and lateral again, but Nigel jumps the hook route and makes just a tremendous play on the football. You could see the back coming around as they were going to set up the pitch, and now the Broncos is just 1 timeout for Leyton.
And kneeling down the ball is going to be Cade Rum, and the timeout going to be called by Leyton. 1:21 to go here.
I think Stewart can go to victory formation here, Code, as long as they take more than a couple of seconds on the next snap. The 40-second clock will start on the snap. Leyton used its last timeout, so Stewart basically just has to handle 2 more snaps, and they're going to survive here at home. It's what's just going to be one of the best games, Code, I've been a part of as far as broadcasting football. We've been in some good ones, but this has just been a tremendous high school football game.
And how about the defense for both teams coming in battling hard, and then a tip of the hat to the defensive backs for the Stewart Broncos have played lockdown defense. Drew Schmatter and also coming in there, Nigel Addison.
Boy, what great plays from Schmatter and Addison in that defensive series. And now Colin Sherman's going to take a timeout, wanting to just make sure everybody's on the same page, knowing that you're going to need to take the snap and run a couple of seconds, and you'll be able to kneel your way, victory formation your way to the state semifinals. But, boy, hats off to this Leyton Warrior team. They are true warriors. A 300-plus mile road trip, and they have gone toe-to-toe athletically with this very talented Stewart football team. And this Leyton team, nothing to hang your hat on. It's just going to be one more play made by the Stewart Broncos in this game. But, boy, Leyton has been so good here on the road today. Really, really impressed with that ball team and Coach Gamble.
Yeah, right. And look out, if it'll be Watchhorn a senior, Hayek a senior, Miller a senior on the roster that played today. Number 7, Fisher out there on defense. And this is going to be kneeled down by Cade Rum. Did the clock start? Yeah, it did. So Coach Sherman says, hey, Cade, go run back a little bit. Let the time run down a little bit.
You got to make sure that they can go under 40 seconds. And as long as they can go under 40 seconds, which I believe they can before this snap, it will be just one more kneel on the football. Boy, but they go to the shotgun with Cameron Kaup with a banged-up snapping wrist, and you're having him snapping the shotgun. But they're doing that because Leyton's trying to dive right at the legs of the football.
So they can wait till they can even –
yeah, he'll take a timeout if it goes under 40 seconds here is what he'll do.
And so there it is.
There's the timeout.
Yep, timeout.
Good play by smart coaching by Colin Sherman. Didn't want his team to have to snap it. Wanted to make sure they could get it under 40 seconds. And now they can take a knee and plan a trip to the state football semifinals. But boy, you hate to see a team have to lose this game, Code. That's how fun it has been. Both teams with some huge rallies. We had 4 lead changes early on. Then Stewart, 16 straight points to take us 2-score lead. Leyton comes back with 2 scores for our 5th lead change. And then Stewart gets the big play defensively after scoring on the interception by Nigel Addison. And the Broncos, after 6 lead changes, are 1 snap and kneel down away from moving to the semifinals.
You can see a little bit of the emotions already kicking in for the Leyton Warriors right now. We do see Colt Van Ann will go to the sidelines, and it looks like we see in there number 30, Riley Benish, 140-pound junior. So we see some youngsters in there. This snap is back in the kneel down. What a hard-fought battle. The clock will tick down. The Stewart Broncos come from behind, and what we thought maybe was a great hit and a fumble recovery near the 1. Turned out Leyton got the ball, and then all of a sudden it's an interception by Nigel Addison, and then Stewart able to kneel down the ball. And the Stewart Broncos are back to the semifinals again. They'll make the trip where it looks to be maybe Oshkosh, Nebraska, for a rematch of Garden County as the clock will hit zeros. The Stewart Broncos win the quarterfinal matchup 31-25 on our Tri-County Bank scoreboard.
Code, it's days like today that you really like your job when you get to call one like this. That was just a lot of fun. Fantastic game in high school ranks between 2 really, really quality football teams. Leyton, nothing to hang your hats about, young men. You played a whale of a ball game
Superb.
Here. We'll come back, tell you more about it in our Tri-County Bank end of the game summary and our Buckles Automotive post-game show. Broncos on to the semifinals, 31-25.
If your ride isn't all it ought to be, bring it to Ernie's Body Shop in Atkinson. Dusty offers collision repair, custom framework, PDR, color matching, glass installation, towing service, you name it. They're locally owned, they don't cut corners, and they handle insurance claims too. The insurance Money may not love them, but you sure will. For high-quality workmanship and competitive prices right here at home, you can count on Ernie's Body Shop.
Whether you're chasing a championship or just chasing your personal best, your performance starts with your health. Westfall Medical Services in Atkinson has what you need to stay game ready. From annual physicals and sports screenings in the primary clinic to radiology, physical therapy, and a rotation of top-end specialists, WHMS has you covered from pregame to cool down. Visit www.westfoltmed.org for more information. Westfold Medical Services, your health, our mission.
When you spend all year serving others, when you lead by example, you don't just land on the nice list, you get rewarded. Celebrate all the good you've done this year at the RAM Black Friday sales event, where qualified buyers get incredible financing and incentive offers on new 2025 Ram 1500 models at William Crowder Company, CDJR in O'Neill, where service is a family tradition. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. From concept to creation with Borg Construction and Stewart. From drafting to design to completion. With Jason's experience, attention to detail, dedication to quality, and talented, trustworthy crew, you'll feel confident throughout the building process. Storm restoration, roofing, dealing with your insurance included. Updated and efficient remods and brand new custom-built homes. Need a place to build? Residential and commercial lots available in Stewart's new development. Call 402-340-1302.
Just like in sports, when everyone is working together, you have a solid play. The same holds true in the concrete business at Stewart Concrete. Eric mixes the right amount of cement, gravel, and water to deliver the best concrete for your building project. Whether it is for floors, walls, drives, and walks, Stewart Concrete can also supply the reinforcing wire rebar, sand, gravel, and rock for solid, long-lasting concrete. Call Eric at Stewart Concrete with locations in Stewart, Atkinson, and now in Valentine, 402-924-3644 or cell phone 402-340-1307. Welcome back to Stewart, Nebraska. Stewart Broncos victorious here will find themselves in the state semifinals. Coming up next Friday, we'll make the trip if Garden County would win it. Garden County taking on Silver Lake. That game is underway now, kicked off 5 o'clock Central Time. The other matchups in the bottom half of the bracket is Southwest, the 3 seed, taking on 6 seed Sumner Eddyville Miller, and the 2 seed Red Cloud taking on Wallace. That one at Wallace, but boy, we were treated to a game. I know the Stewart Broncos know they were in a football game today. What a great football game. And to tell you what, as you can take a look out there, you feel for the Leyton Warriors. They had it in their grasp, Greg, and they feel the pain out there, but tip of the hat. They'll finish the year 8-2, and they came in no holds barred and had the Stewart Broncos on the ropes.
Well, how many fingernails left for both fan bases after this one, Code? What do you think?
I don't know. They went through a case of Pepto-Bismol, I think. My goodness. Wow, what a game it was. And I tell you what, if Stewart made some adjustments in the third quarter, and that's where the game was won here today in the third quarter. But you take a look at it, Greg. You never know on the Stewart team who is going to be the star, the guy that's going to be it. We talk about the Owen Latows, the Drew Schmaderers, the Cade Rums, and today Nigel Addison picks the ball off on a 4th down play and seals the deal for the Stewart Broncos as they'll head now to the semifinals, and they've now picked up 6 straight playoff victories, including last year's state championship.
Yeah, Nigel is just a sophomore in this senior Leyton, experienced team, playing really in his first season at the varsity level. Breaks on the ball on a hook and lateral that Leyton was trying to run there at the end. Intercepts the ball. An acrobatic interception, one-handed, laying out in the end zone by Drew Schmaderer. And it was just a couple of individual plays made by the Broncos. Boy, this is going to go down such a tight game. 2-play difference, 53 plays for Leyton, 51 for Stewart. A 12 yards of offense difference. Broncos 270 to 258 for Leyton. Leyton did have 8 penalties for 72.5 yards. Stewart 4 for just 17. But big interceptions in the second half by Drew Schmatter and Nigel Addison. It was Isaac Rohde with a great interception for Leyton that set up their go-ahead score. But then, boy, the Stewart Broncos answer. And of all things, a fumble recovery in the end zone is your game-winning score with 2:35 to go. And then the Broncos get the stop defensively on the interception with 1:24 remaining by Nigel Addison to move into the semifinals. It's our Tri-County Bank into the game summary. We go way back to our first quarter. Leyton stated its intentions on the opening drive. They marched 60 yards in 9 plays, take 3:57 off the clock, and score on an 8-yard touchdown pass from Austin Butler to Caleb Miller. The kick failed. It was 6-0 Leyton. Broncos answer with 7:11 to go in the half after it was 6-0 Leyton after one. A 1-yard Owen Littow touchdown run after the Broncos forced a Leyton fumble. 1-point pass from Lane Bolter to Drew Schmaderer gave Stewart the lead on a 30-yard drive at 7-6. It was from there, Leyton answering right back after a Stewart fumble. A 2-yard touchdown run by Alec Watchhorn. The kick was blocked, and remember those points after touchdowns as the Broncos blocked the second kick, 12-7 Leyton. Stewart driving before half, but turned away on 4th down deep in Leyton territory for the second time in the half. Broncos went into the break down 12-7, but Stewart with the football to start the second half. They start to spread things out, and it was an 18-yard touchdown pass from Cade Rum to Drew Schmaderer, capping a 56-yard drive to start the second half. Lane Bolter adds the 2-point kick. With 7:51 to go in the third, Stewart goes on top by a score of 15-12. Then the first time either team had scored 2 in a row, as with 2:08 to go in the third. The Broncos an 11-yard touchdown pass, again from Cade Rum to Drew Schmaderer. Bolter the kick, a 65-yard drive, 16 unanswered for Stewart to go up 23-12. But right back comes Leyton. A 63-yard drive keyed on a big 47-yard run by Alec Watchhorn, capped on a 2-yard run by Colt Van Ann. Again, the kick fails, but 23-18. That's where we were. Broncos with the lead going into the fourth quarter. However, it was Leyton with 8:06 to go in the game. A 24-yard touchdown pass from Alec Watchhorn to Calvin Borgman. The 1-point pass to Austin Butler gave Leyton a 25-23 lead. Broncos with a big march offensively. And on 2:35 to go in the game, a fumble recovery in the end zone by Tommy Paxton after it was fumbled, knocked out of the arms of Drew Schmaderer. Tommy recovers it in the end zone. Bolter adds the kick, 31-25, and then the game-sealing interception by Nigel Addison to get the Broncos to the semifinals, 31-25. We'll come back on our Tri-County Bank into the game summary. We are joined here in the booth by coach of the Broncos, Colin Sherman, and I'm not sure it was as fun to coach as it was to call and watch. But what a gritty effort against what was a quality football team in Leyton today, and you guys get the job done in advance.
Yep, that's that's the sign of a championship team, being resilient, because that first half they came and popped us, right in the mouth, and we couldn't do anything offensively. And then, we kind of let Cade loose in the RPO stuff, and he kind of did his thing, even being sick all week. He's got pneumonia, so that was good to top onto his ankle injury. And but no, I mean, with all, we had to kind of challenge them at halftime, and they absolutely came out in the second half and played a really good ball game.
Well, you're right. This Leyton team, we had talked about in the pregame, 72 tackles for loss. This was a team that plays down here, the physical. They've got some athletes, and they really get in the backfield and try to jam things up. And that first half, we're used to seeing Owen Littow churn out, even on a bad play, 6-7 yards and falling forward.
Yep.
And there was really just nothing inside the hash marks in that first half.
Nope, they made us adjust, but that's the beauty of our offense is we're pretty balanced. If somebody's going to stuff us like they did, in our stuff that's comfortable, we can, go to our, whatever set we want and, let Cade kind of do his thing. And our receivers made some good balls. And Cameron, in that spread stuff that's hard to block. And, Owen stepped up and kind of changed his role offensively to a blocker. And, so it all worked out. And, like I said, that's a different team than we've seen on film because we thought they were soft and all this and that, and we could run the ball on them, but they absolutely showed up and played today. Leyton did.
Well, and, we talked about this a little bit in the pregame, but how hard was it to prepare for this team and what they do? I mean, you saw everything but the kitchen sink thrown at you. Hook and ladders, which are right out, I know you've got that somewhere deep in the playbook that we've seen. It's a little shovel pass, the shovel passes that turned into reverses, pitching the ball forward or backward as they're being taken down. I mean, how difficult was that to prepare for defensively that really you've got to stay with everybody until you make sure the whistle blows because you never know when the play's over.
The thing is when we went to 6-man, 6 years ago, that's what they said it was. That's what they said was 6-man football was the laterals and all this and that, and we really hadn't seen that ever. In my 6 years, we've never seen an offense like this of playing, D6, and it's tough. It's tougher than you think because everybody sucks to the football, and then all of a sudden it's pitched or lateraled, and nobody's there. And they got us a couple times, and then, but it's kind of like last year's state game. Our backers were just really, they weren't settled in, I don't think, and then finally they realized what we got to do, and it was better adjustment at halftime.
Well, it was interesting, and really after Leyton, just a nice drive to start the game, 60 yards and 9 plays. It was your defense that got you going. You recovered 2 fumbles, and just like you've done all year, you let your defense key your offense, and yet Leyton right there, they recover an onside kick, and it was literally the swings in this game momentum-wise. Could you feel that while you were down coaching these huge momentum swings both ways? Oh,
for sure. Their crowd is loud. It didn't feel like a home game for a little while. Then our crowd responded really well for us. But no, it's a game of momentum. I mean, just like any sport, it's all momentum. And for a while there, we didn't have momentum on our side. And then, our defense made some plays and recovered some fumbles. But then, they get an onside kick and we fumble. But it all comes down to the end, obviously. And I think experience helps us out. Last year, all those guys played in the state title game. We haven't played in, a bigger game, since last. These are big games. But, we played in the state finals, so. I don't know. I think our experience helped a lot for us, I feel like, too. And I don't know. It was just a resilient win for our kids, and they did really well. And you know what? Hats off to Lane Bolter. Those PATs, man.
We talked about it. Same number of touchdowns and a +6 difference in the points after touchdowns. 3 kicks and a 1-point pass for 7 points. And Leyton, just a 1-point pass in a game with 4 touchdowns. I've got to take you to the second half. Have you ever seen a better individual play on the defensive end than a one-handed leaping interception as you go to the ground from Drew Schmatter in the end zone to turn away a Leyton drive when they really had some momentum on their side?
Nope. You might remember it. He did that at Pawnee one too. He went up for one hand, but it wasn't in this magnitude of a football game. We might have to send that in somewhere to see.
We talked about it. We said you've got the audio that says ESPN Top 10.
We'll
send it in.
But that was an incredible play, and I don't even know what to say. I'm lost of words for it because it was a huge momentum swing. And
I'm wondering if you're okay. You got thumped to the ground after that one too.
I'm not. So I learned I can't jump high as I used to.
You're getting a little old for that.
Yeah,
now, right?
It was still a lot of fun. I would not take it back.
Well, not only that play, but then after scoring to take the lead, still a lot of time, 2+ minutes, a dangerous offense. You knew they were going to throw everything they could find in the playbook. And it's with all these seniors and all this experience, it's a sophomore breaking on a short pass route as they were going to set up another hook and lateral. And Nigel Addison breaks on the football and makes the interception. To seal this one for your team.
Those are tough drives, man. At the end, you're trying to not let anybody go behind you, and but you need to step up and make a play. And out of that timeout, we kind of, I didn't say hook and ladder, but I said look for them to just lateral it somehow to keep it alive. They do it on a normal play at the end. When they're begging for something, that's what they're good at. So Nigel just read it perfect and jumped it, and how smart of him to go down. I mean, that's a sophomore that caught it and knew the circumstance and just went to the ground.
Well, I got to ask you what the explanation was. You know, on that kick return after you'd scored to go ahead, it looked like Van An was trying to pitch it or find somebody to pitch it to when it was knocked loose. Did they say he was down before the pitch? Did they say he recovered it? Because the first official signaled your ball at the 1, and we were, you know, talking about what a play and a chance to take a 2-score lead, and all of a sudden you're out there defensively, and they had kept. You know, we Leyton with the football.
Didn't get much of one there, but our kids said that we had it on the ground and they ripped it out in the pile.
Okay.
So that's all I got, which that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever, it is what it is. But,
all right, I wasn't sure. Because it fooled us.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, okay.
I know. Yep, me too. Me too.
All right.
Yep.
Well, some great plays. Your seniors, Cade, the second half, the adjustment to just let him go to work. And really, Drew, they had a tough time covering him in the second half. But on the opposite side, I don't know if you had as much fun watching that matchup as we did between Watchorn and Drew on the defensive end, but 5 versus 5, speed versus speed. How many plays did we see Drew knock passes away, not let alone the acrobatic interception, but how many deflections did he have one-on-one against Watchorn that were just, picture perfect defensive technique plays?
Our DBs played well. They didn't give up a big one. There's one where he snuck by us there in the end zone, but other than that, they played lights out. Tate he had to adjust his game plan a little bit, and he did a great job of it from the first half to the second half, and our kids adjusted well, and it's another quality win for us, and we get to move on.
Well, now let's talk. We don't know the results yet. Garden County is playing as we speak against was it Silver Lake? Yep. So win or lose, you will be on the road next week.
Yep.
So it's a chance to potentially, if Garden County gets the win, a rematch against that kind of added game this year. Down in Elm Creek, Cade was not 100%, but this is a Garden County team that is physical, that hits hard. They are well coached. They're disciplined. Do you think it's a benefit to you to have seen them once, where they have seen you, but maybe not at the level 100% that you're going to be going into that game?
No, for sure. I'm glad we picked that game up.
Now, I'm not sure you were mid-season.
Yeah, it is what it is, well, especially when Cade went down. But, no, it'll be interesting. That's what it's supposed to be, I think. And a lot of people thought that was going to be the final. And you know what? It ended up, I think if we were on separate sides, it probably would be the final. But, I can sit here and say all I want. But, we get a chance to play in the semis. I think anybody would take that chance, and we get a chance to revenge a loss just like we did last year. And, we're going to get them as prepared as we can and give them everything we got, and we'll see if we can get another trip.
Congratulations on the win, Colin. A really exciting ball game. Your team makes the plays on both sides of the ball in the fourth quarter to get it done. We will see you next week, either in Oshkosh or wherever we're going for Silver Lake, I guess. So congrats on the win, and
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
talk to you next week.
I appreciate his coverage. I really do. Thank you.
That is Coach Colin Sherman on KBRB. It is our Tri-County Bank end of the game summary. If you're looking to buy, build, or refinance the home you have, the Tri-County Bank Home Mortgage Team can help get you into the home of your dreams. Go local with the Tri-County Bank, because they're not just your lenders. They're your neighbors. Stop by one of their branches in Stewart, Atkinson, Bassett, O'Neill. Visit tcbhomemortgage.com. The Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Code, you got a chance to catch your breath. That was just a fun high school football game that we got to experience.
Yeah,
tonight.
what I like is you said you had a youngster come up, and not only just one youngster, you had 2 sophomores making plays. Tommy Paxton getting the recovering the fumble that came out of the hands of Drew Schmatter near the goal line, got that touchdown, and then again Nigel Addison with the interception that sealed the deal. But this is a team of the Stewart Broncos, as is Leyton Warriors, that they'll have some up-and-comers. Tip of the hat to one of the better players in six-man we've seen all year outside of Stewart, and a couple of guys out of Garden County. Alec Watchorn, the real deal, and you know what? He had the supporting cast with him today.
Well, Colt Van Ann, the other one, just a sophomore. Wow, was I impressed with that kid. Watchorn on the offensive end. The head-to-head matchup between he and Drew Schmatter was something you literally could watch at a small college on Saturdays. and see two players like that go head-to-head. But Colt Van Ann on the defensive end was just a game wrecker for this Leyton team. They only have 4 seniors. All of them three of them played a role in this game today. But this is going to be a team that's going to be good a year from now. But
Coach Campbell had them ready to play today.
Yeah, I tell you what, tip the cap to that Leyton team. That was a fun football game against a really good and experienced Stewart ball club, and they gave Stewart everything they wanted and more. And it's going to boil down to a score and a stop at the end, and a one-possession game. And the other sophomore we didn't talk about, old Lane the leg.
Yeah, there's another sophomore that, I tell you what, without the 3 kicks going through, this one could go to OT.
Yep.
Of course, Stewart did get the ball back. Did get a text message from Stewart alum, said Stewart and Leyton football now 2 for 2 in nail biters. So there you go.
Let's run through here as we hit our Buckles Automotive post-game show stats for both of these teams. We kind of went through the end of the game summary before talking to Coach Sherman there. But Stewart, 10 first downs, had 7 of those after halftime. Leyton with 9 first downs. Broncos held them to 3 first downs after the half. Leyton had 133 yards in the first half, 125 yards of offense in the second half. Broncos had 111 yards of offense in the first half, 159 yards of offense in the second half. Yards and points were tough to come by. Only 6 players on the field, a lot of green grass to cover, and these two defenses really played excellent football. Stewart forces 4 turnovers. We talked about how big that was going to be in this game. Stewart forced 4 turnovers, 2 fumble recoveries in the first half, 2 interceptions in the second half, but it was Leyton forcing 3 Bronco turnovers and recovering an onside kick. So that really a wash, no real extra possessions for either team in this game, and we thought that'd be one of the big keys in this one.
Big key, and a lot of the times, though, Greg, with those turnovers, they were deep in the opponent's territory, so that was really
they were
big.
Drive killers. Yeah. So let's go to the stats for Leyton, who will end the year at 8-2 in the quarterfinals. A good game, as we mentioned, for Alec Watchorn, the 180-pound senior. 15 carries for 114 yards. And he scored a touchdown. 15 carries for 114 yards for Watchorn. And from there, it was 4 carries for a loss of 18 yards for Austin Butler. That included a couple of sacks, 2 carries for 4 yards, and a touchdown for Colt Van Ann. Let's see, 4 different passers for Leyton in this game. A majority of those from Butler, who's got a cannon. Touchdown pass for him, a touchdown pass for Watchorn. As a team, 20 for 32. Leyton, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Leading receiver was Colt Van Ann, the sophomore, 7 catches for 55 yards. For the Stewart Broncos, it was a tough sledding offensively. Cade Rum finishes the game 12 for 18 passing, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, both in the third quarter to Drew Schmaderer. He was intercepted once. Drew 6 catches for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, Rum 17 carries, 46 yards. He lost 11 on those final 3 victory formation kneel down. 6 rushes for 41 yards and a touchdown for Owen Littau. 6 carries for 29 yards for Drew Schmaderer, your leaders. Well, we were getting a fist bump here from Tate Schmaderer. I'll never do it again because I threw a headset on him. And Tate wanted to talk. We talked to Coach Sherman, wanted to talk to you. How difficult was this Leyton team to prepare for from a defensive standpoint with everything they do?
Well, each time that you thought that you had a set that they would be in, and this even came from film, they would throw a different variety.
There we are. We're back. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah. Teresa's trying to get out of here. She tried to unplug you, Tate. So, yeah.
But each time we would see a formation, you had to go to a different alignment with all the variety of stuff they could run and with how athletic they were. So hats off to Leyton on everything that they're able to do on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, you early on, they do so many different things, whether it's the hook and lateral, a shovel pass that leads to a reverse action. You know, anytime you think you've got them down, they either flip it forward or flip it backward. And I wanted to have you talk about some of the adjustments you made at halftime, because it looked like it was two distinct things you had your defensive ends doing. When it was Butler at the quarterback, or make that not Butler, when it was, Butler at the quarterback spot, you were really trying to get in there quick and pressure him. And it was a Watchorn at the quarterback spot, you were really trying to play contain, it looked like.
Yes, and it was difficult because of when he would break contain, with especially how Watchorn could run. That was important, and you could see when discipline would break down, how they could take advantage of that.
Well, did you ever make a play as good as your little brother just made in the third quarter?
I did not. I did not. Just what they did, those defensive backs did today. Nigel Addison finishing the game off there with that last interception. For them to contain their receivers like they did, I think that just as a hats off to those guys on how hard they work and how hard John Schmatter works with them as well.
All right, well, I'll let you go. Thanks for stopping up and putting the headset on for us, Tate. Appreciate it. We wanted to give you props. That was a really fantastic second half and finish to that game. So congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Always appreciate you guys covering us. Thank you.
That is defensive coordinator Tate Schmatter for us here on KBRB, as we are on our Buckles Automotive post-game show on KBRB. Don't let cold stand in your way. Personal warmth has been reinvented. The thaw lineup is in and on display now at Buckles Automotive, your Napa store in Ainsworth. Outdoor activities just got a lot more enjoyable with their rechargeable heated seat pad, perfect for deer stands and ice fishing. Heat up game day with the rechargeable stadium seats, ensuring cold weather will never sideline your enthusiasm. There's hand warmers, scarves, wraps, and more, all super affordable and all make great gifts from Buckles Automotive. Well, we'll bring back in Cody Gucci and award our first-class auto performances of the game. Your final thoughts before we pick out an offensive and defensive player for each team.
Tip of the hat, Leyton Warriors coming in here. And, as you heard Coach Sherman say, we thought maybe they might be a little softer than what they came out as, and he owned up to it, and they showed up today. Coach Cody Gamble and staff had their guys ready to play, and I tell you what, whale of a ball club had a chance to possibly tie it up there with under 2 minutes to go, but a great play by, again, Nigel Addison. And tell you what, there's two guys that really stick out to me for the Leyton Warriors, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah,
I don't think there's
pretty easy
any
calls for the Warriors
Alex
today.
Watchorn, 180-pound senior running back, quarterback, receiver, and then, of course, Colton Van An, the 175-pound sophomore, as he played superb also for Leyton on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, no doubt. Van An on the defensive end was a game wrecker and just a sophomore. And, Watchorn, 114 yards on 15 carries and one touchdown. His longest run came in that second half, the 47-yard touchdown to Hunter Borges. So, he'll be our offensive player of the game for Leyton. For the Stewart Broncos, well, I don't care if it's the offensive or defensive side. One of them's going to Drew Schmatter.
I'm going to go on the defensive side for Drew Schmatter. Not only that exceptional interception, but Greg, also, he made a tackle after a 38-yard gain. It looked like Watchorn was going to go in to the end zone, and he saved that touchdown right there. He did well, and it was just every time they threw at him, I don't think they caught a pass against him all day.
I think Watchorn made one catch early, and Drew made the tackle, but I think there were at least four that he batted away, and then that just unbelievable interception for Drew. And then tack on 6 catches, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the offensive end. But Drew Schmatter, you're right, from the defensive side for Stewart. And you know what? The other one, both sides, it's got to be Cade Rum, I think, for Stewart.
Playing ill.
We did
not know that. He was sick.
But on the offensive end, they just put the ball in number 7's hands, gave him the RPO in the second half, and he made the plays the Broncos needed to make. And then defensively, he is so good as that defensive end when he is on the field and at 100%. His athletic ability, his lateral movement, his football IQ. He's going to finish the game offensively, 12 for 18 passing, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, and he goes 17 carries for a hard-earned 46 yards. Did have those 3 kneel downs that cost him 11 yards at the end in victory formation. So we'll go Cade Rum and Drew Schmatter, the 2 seniors, for your performances of the game for the Stuart Broncos in this one. Boy, Code, that was quite
one
the
to call.
football game that we got to experience today. Leyton, just a fantastic effort today. So impressed with those Warrior players. And the Stuart Broncos, the veteran team, they find a way to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they'll be in the semifinals, and looks like probably going to head to Oshkosh. 28-0. Garden County leads Silver Lake in the second quarter right now.
Not unsurprising. And on the other side, you have evening games tonight. Undefeated Southwest, who Stuart played a couple of years ago in the opening round at Bartley before they were knocked out of the playoffs the next week. So Stuart familiar with some of those younger Southwest players that are now probably upperclassmen. Stuart was down at Bartley in the opening round a couple of years ago. Southwest undefeated at 9-0, taking on the runners-up from a year ago, Sumner Eddyville Miller. That game getting ready to kick off at Bartley. And then you have undefeated Red Cloud at 9-0, the 2 seed. They are on the road at 10 seed Wallace, who knocked off 7 seed Hampton. So Red Cloud and Wallace tonight. That one getting ready to kick off. Stuart likely will be in Oshkosh next Friday. We will make that trip back to my former stomping grounds in the land of the 77 county license plates, Garden County, Nebraska, USA, where the looks like the Broncos may be on the road to try for the second straight year to be able to avenge a regular season loss in the state football playoffs and leave Stuart 2 wins away from a first since NSAA has taken on the 6-man football brackets, as would be the first team since that's happened to potentially repeat. But a big game today that they get past, and they'll be on the road for the semis next week, regardless of who wins between Oshkosh or Garden County and Silver Lake. That's going to wrap it up from here. It is our performers of the game that are brought to you by First Class Auto. When it comes to vehicle sales and service, score more with a trip to First Class Auto. Their repair shop will service all makes, and their mechanics can fix about anything they can get to fit inside the shop doors. And whether you're looking for a previously owned car, truck, or SUV, they've got a great lineup on the Main Street lot, folks. Check that out when you go by. Stop in, talk to Square for more. And if you're looking for new, the First Class Auto crew can do that as well in Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram products. When you go First Class. Cody, real pleasure to call the games with you. We're usually at opposite ends of things on
opposite ends of the state
a lot of times, but really enjoy it here this time of year to be on the headsets with you. So we'll do it again next Friday and be a little late to deer season. So,
hey, you know what? It's been fun, and I tell you what, the tip of the hat again to Leyton. Fine ball club. Stuart Broncos just had a little more today.
That'll do it from Stuart. Broncos win it 31-25 in the state quarterfinals. We'll move into the semis next week. For Cody Gucci, Greg Kinsey, thanks so much for listening. Big thanks to our Stuart and Westholt sportscasters and to Stuart Public School for allowing us to bring the audio to their video stream of this state playoff game. With that, we're going to send it back to the KBRB studios.
A tradition of caring. As a locally owned and operated funeral home for more than 60 years, Seeger Funeral Home understands the needs and challenges that arise when you're faced with the loss of a loved one. They know that each family is unique and has personal requests and traditions. They're here to help you through every decision in detail at this difficult time, doing all they can so that your loved one is honored, as they should be. Seeger Funeral Home with locations in Atkinson and Stewart.